Oh, yes. It is time for You're My Favorite Show Every Friday. That's right. We're here for the SpaceBro Show. And joining me tonight is the one, the only, Mr. Dr. Drones is here. Also, along with him, we got the amazing Toy Grubbin. And the one, the only, Mr. Bud. So let's get the show started. You know how we do it. You know what we do. And we're going to go live right now. All right, guys. What is up? How's everybody doing tonight? Man.
What's up?
It's been a good day so far. How are you guys? How are you guys? Oh,
Doing amazing.
good. So
It'd be better if this thing wasn't on my lip.
this thing, you don't like the thing there? I like it right about here. Here, we'll put it right between the eyes. Perfect. Bring it in, baby. Lift the mouse pointer right there on him. Just wanted him to get noticed. We're like this guy right here. There it is. No, but we had the amazing, I guess amazing? I don't know. It depends how you feel about it. The amazing ATV holiday not so live stream, as I was calling it. You know, I
liked it.
Yeah, I think I really enjoyed it. There's some things I would give some notes to them on how they did it there, but the parts, the Squadron 42, amazing. I really enjoyed even their ship shape, the way they kind of structured it and stuff like that was good. I think it could have been maybe about a half hour shorter. But, you know, I get it. It's okay.
Or extend ship shape and cut out some other things.
Yeah, you know, it was really long. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. So let's go around the room. Tell me what you guys been up to, how your week's been, all that good stuff. We'll start out with Toy to start with. So, Toys, how's your week been, man? What's been going on? We actually got to play some games together this week so far. It's been exciting.
We
It's
did.
pretty cool.
I've been trying to get, all this last-minute shopping and setting up for Christmas and stuff done. And I've actually had time to play some games. So, and it's not 3 in the morning. So
Yeah, and it's not digging a shovel in some dirt either. So it's been good.
yeah,
absolutely. So he's actually
I
been
don't
playing
dig
some.
dirt in that game.
No, he digs.
I kill bears.
He kills bears.
The bear killer.
He's the bear killer. There you go. All right. And let's go see Mr. Dr. Drones. How's your week been so far? What have you been up to? And, tell us what's happening with you.
Week has been really good. Just having a good time playing Star Citizen 3.0 with chat. It's been insane. Just doing stupid stuff and having a good time. Even with broken ship pads and everything, we still made the best of it. And it's just been a lot of damn fun.
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
Right on. Did you try this most recent patch? Did you have an opportunity yet?
I have not, because I worked. I came home. I usually take a nap after work before the show, but I decided I'd better watch the holiday special, which I couldn't watch at work, and here we are. So I have not had a chance to play at all.
I would. I got a couple words for you just to put in perspective.
Okay.
I played it for over half an hour at 54 frames.
Say what now?
I played for over half an hour, like right bouncing between 35 and 54 frames. It's pretty fucking good.
Nice.
It was pretty good. We did crash though. I haven't crashed in a long time. We actually did crash, but I got in a fight outside Port Olisar against a Constellation, fully crewed with multiple guns, and we fought for about 15 minutes. And it was like I was pulling 45, 50 frames in the dogfight in front of Port Olisar with all the traffic. It was pretty cool.
That's crazy.
I was like, it was the only time it happened. I was like, holy crap. But it was really good. It's really good. So I look forward to playing more. So, and last but certainly not least, let's see what's going on with your favorite nerd among all of us, the Uber Nerd. How are you doing, sir? How's your week been?
I'm doing all right. I'm exhausted, but I'm doing all right. So
Yep.
Working my tail off.
That real life stuff does that.
Oh, yeah. Well, And it's
Yes, it does.
machine shop work. It's
Yeah.
not just and it's metal, like steel and aluminum is pretty much the only medium we work in.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
oh my god.
Yep.
And so yeah, it's just everything must be gripped harder, pushed harder, lifted, everything's heavy, really heavy.
Heavy steel. Everything's really heavy duty. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the worst part that I would hate about that job, and the only thing, and because I've worked with metal before when I was a union carpenter, metal burrs. I hate those metal splinters, those little tiny fibrous ones you get in your fingers and stuff like that. I cannot stand it. That's the downside to all that. Everything else can be adapted to. I just cannot stand.
One of my primary tasks for the past 2 weeks has been deburring a whole bunch of parts.
Yeah.
So-
Nobody likes
It sounds
that job.
painful.
Well, as long as you don't
I've
give them in
never
your
worked
hands.
Having all those guns
Yeah.
around and not
Yeah.
being able to take them all home.
Take him out to the range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I will get the test, because all guns that go out must be tested. So
Yep.
it has to be,
Absolutely. Got to test them, make sure they're well working and functioning, and hopefully no breach blocks and all that good stuff. So that's good, man. I'm glad you've been able to get a good set of work in. You'll adapt. That's the thing. It's like going back to manual type of work and stuff like that can be rough. On the body.
I mean the big thing for me is the stream time change.
Yeah.
And that is unfortunate because I wanted to it's like I don't pull in near the viewership that I did before because none of my viewers and followers can really partake, and I'm sorry guys, I want to be there, but I gotta work that time in the morning. So
Absolutely.
I mean, eventually I can move over to full-time streaming, but I don't know when that's going to be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and also, it's hard. It's really hard. I found I've had a lot of friends go through that change since I'm used to streaming both early and late. I get different audiences. I've seen that shift. I was in your position previously where I streamed at like a 9 or 10 a.m. and I had a couple hundred people. I got up to that, and when my time shrunk in the morning and I went more to an evening, it was a huge adaptation. It's like one of those things where your audience shifts and stuff like that because they're only available in certain time zones and whatnot, and it's hard. But one thing Twitch is doing well that benefits a lot of streamers, and it will be coming to us more frequently, is the ability to watch the VODs. And so those of you that missed some of your favorite streams and whatnot, you can go back and check out some of the past broadcasts and whatnot. And they are going to start to implement some monetization on that to kick back to some of the streamers eventually some of those things and of that nature for watching the VOD. So if you do feel like doing it,
already doing that for ads, right?
they're going to be doing it. They announced they're going to be doing a little bit more though a couple of letters ago. So what they're going to do is do it more like a YouTube almost, where you're going to be able to they're going to throw in like a little commercial and you get a little extra monetization on all past broadcasts. So that's one way. If you miss a guy that you like to watch and he's out of your time zone now, go back, check that out. Give him a little love that way. And yeah, otherwise, do what you can. We understand this is the way it is. We can't expect everybody to be there 24 hours a day just because our lives change. But we love you either way. All right, let's get down to business, guys. So the stream we were all waiting for, even 24 hours more than what we intended, because we all thought this was going to pop off yesterday, which cheesed off a lot of people, to be honest. But stuff happens. I understand the people that took off work and all that, and for everybody, as much as I read Reddit, and everybody's like, oh, you shouldn't read that crap. For everybody who's like giving people crap about taking the day off to like watch, the stream, and then they were mad that they took the day off and they didn't get to watch it at a scheduled event, you shouldn't hate on people like that. I always took off work for special events, for Eve or anything else. If you're a hardcore gamer, that's not unbeknownst. I mean, that's like your special time of doing something. So I understand that, and that's unfortunate. But, you know, that's the way a lot of us show support to the game. That is our little vacations, is to go and do those things and try to support the game and check out what's going on. Yeah. It's like, imagine if you took off work to watch the Super Bowl and they're like, oh, no, we'll just do it tomorrow. You know, I mean, those things.
I'll be honest. I had planned to take off for the holiday live stream, but then they said it was Squadron 42. And I was like, I like Squadron 42, but I'm not like gung-ho about it. So I was like, you know what? I'll watch it after.
You would have been double chapped if you were like actually took off when you were kind of not hyped about it, and then they moved it too, and you were like, oh.
Yeah, that would have probably upset me a little bit.
It's like,
but
I didn't really
I get
care.
It. Things go wrong.
Yeah. Stuff happens. That's the way it is.
Right.
You know, and I don't think we'll ever really know entirely why they had to push it, at least not unless CIG wants to reveal it. And that confused me, because if it was a live broadcast event, it would have made more sense that they had to push it. Like, something happened, blah, blah, blah. But the whole thing was pre-recorded, which surely they weren't putting together the pre-recording yesterday, right? Because it's such a big event, you would think they'd do more than that. So that whole part still makes me a little bit more curious than anything. Just why it was pushed. I don't know. Maybe it was, some people, like, you know, even Toy talked about this, was maybe it was to set up for the patch, for the wide PTU that they ended up launching. Maybe they weren't ready for that build yet, so they wanted to get that done before they said, hey, here it is. But I also noticed in the live stream, they didn't really highlight that. They didn't go, hey, you know, now it's released. If that was in there, then I would have said, yeah, absolutely. And I think we all agreed that we thought we'd see this go wide by time, you know, this presentation came out. But I thought they were going to make more of a big deal about it on the show.
You know, Chris Roberts is kind of a perfectionist, right?
Yeah.
So my guess
a little bit
is that what they did was they probably did not yesterday, but they did enough time where they had to they did it again. They played, because they actually played that. They didn't just they actually played that walkthrough that they showed us. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. You could see.
So I bet you anything that they played it and something happened, and Chris said, "I don't like that. Do it again." And it kept happening as they were, you know,
probably.
Yeah. And they did it happen. He said, "Okay, do it again," but it came at probably do it again that morning that they had to. Oh crap! Now he's making us do it again.
Well,
right?
yeah,
they had everything else done.
Well, because you know, as much as they do play it now, they didn't play it live, but they played it for real. It wasn't simulated. Yeah.
So he had probably a bunch of recordings. And he said, "No, I want another one to choose from," because he probably wasn't satisfied with what they had.
Yeah.
So how long is it going to take to actually play and record that vertical slice? Well, as long as the vertical slice.
And maybe they didn't like a camera angle or the way it worked out in editing, you know, something like that. And even though it is scripted, so to speak, where it's like, okay, we're going to walk this way and do this sort of thing and all this stuff. Maybe that AI reaction, maybe that AI didn't react right in the gunfight, right? I mean, it could have been anything like that, because they're already. People were already calling it out, saying it looked a little janky around the gunfight portion of the video and stuff. But we know AI is not done yet.
Even Jay Lee said that on one of the knife takedowns, they wanted a third-person view of the knife takedown just to show there's an animation for it.
Yeah, because people are calling it out, saying, "Oh, what's it in third person?" It's like, no, they're just showing you. It's still first person unless you zoom out and stuff, but they're trying to do it.
But there is an animation for it. That's what they wanted to show.
Yeah, absolutely. So they wanted to illustrate that and everything else. So, and if you guys, just to illustrate, I saw some of you guys throwing questions in there. So we don't miss out on anybody's question stuff throughout the chat, make sure if you do have a question, ! the word questions, and that'll get you a link to our document. And I have a live Google Doc where you can place those questions, and we will take the second half of the show and go through those and knock them all out and do that sort of thing. So make sure that you're doing that, guys, and we'll do that. As well as we do have a $10 gift card giveaway going on live right now. If you guys would like to enter, it's ! SpaceBros in chat. You do have to be following everybody in the stream. I don't know if we have an update.
It's not updated.
It's not?
It's got Geo on it instead of...
Use the guests one, then. instead of the SPG. Exclamation mark guess should be the one that's the old one that does that.
Yep, that'll
Yep.
work.
Yeah, just use the guest and make sure you're following everybody here, and you'll be good to go. And give Gio a follow anyway. I mean, God's sake, come on, man. It won't help you win the prize, but why not? He's an awesome dude.
Yeah, throw him a bone.
Yeah, throw him a bone. So, yeah, just use that. Thanks, Mass. But the whole thing with that, the animations and stuff, and the angles and all that, I thought it was just beautiful to go through the whole thing. I am surprised they made the choice with it, since it was pre-recorded, that they didn't kind of just do sections. I was really expecting them, when they said vertical slice, portions of the whole thing to be there. But then I realized the reason I played straight through is they wanted to show from like unedited, right, all the way through this mission to show it's a flow and not just like this is broken up. Because, people would have criticized them saying, oh, you just took this fight scene here. Oh, you just took this one part here. But they did hey, you meet up, you go through this whole portion. No transition. Yeah, they played the entire thing through to there. And that was really impressive to me. Very impressed with the single player.
And it was smooth the way it flowed.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we saw a few animation glitches here and there, but I mean, overall, it was really good. No more than I see in like a AAA game that's published. I mean, I've seen more in like the Call of Duty campaign. The glitches happen and stuff. So that stuff happens. But that was really good.
It was beautiful. It was, I'm going to have to watch it again just because there's so much in it,
Yep. Absolutely.
And the quality of the facial animation, the quality of the pathing, that they were wanting to work on that a lot. And so just the quality of that was phenomenal.
Well, the other reason I encourage everybody to watch it again, too, because I've skimmed through some of it today, and some of the drops, there were frame drops. 100% you guys in chat are right. There were some frame drops and stuff. But some of that was because of Twitch. Because I noticed some of the areas that I marked on my notes that I was taking while I was watching it, I went back and skimmed through the YouTube, and it was perfectly smooth. So I would say now that the YouTube is available, you'll get the exact... Yeah, you'll watch that, and that's kind of what we're showing here in the background, too. We're going to skip through some parts. But, I mean, it was amazing. It was really, really solid, So you got to be... You got to judge it like in its full merit of watching the whole video, because I think it was really it seemed smoother watching it on YouTube after it was posted and now that it's been fully uploaded than what we saw in the live stream broadcast.
Yeah,
which I thought was very odd because Twitch has an upload portion too. I'm surprised they didn't just upload it to both. I mean, I get why they wanted it live, kind of, but there was no real interaction with the live group, so I don't know. Either way, choices,
I think it would be cool, like Lurch Dog said, if they did have co-op in it, because you and your buddy could fly around and do the missions together.
And while we know there's not going to be co-op in this Squadron 42, I could see them doing that in a mission pack. Just like what they do with some of the old wing commanders, like an add-on to this, or even just waiting for Chapter 2 and all the other, because they're going to do up to 3 of these, we know for sure that they're going to be out there. Because I could see them having like a special edition mission type thing and all those type of things in there as well. So, and of course we got Chris out of his black shirt for the special episode, so he was actually in a Squadron 42 shirt instead of the black shirt or the Polaris shirt or one of those. So that was good as well.
Very good.
Yeah, I would say what was the part that stand out the most for you in this? And then what was something you didn't like that you saw? And what was something, again, with what stood out the most, what was something that you really liked that was the highlight? So I want the worst thing and the best thing that you saw, and we'll start with Toy.
Well, let's see. The best thing, I love when they were flying through the cracked open asteroid headed to the Starfarer wreck.
Damn it, I was going to say that.
Sorry. With the lightning crackling and all that other stuff, it looks so good. The worst thing is some of these characters' facials animations it looked like a real person, but others looked bad. And I'm sure it's something they'll touch up on. They always do, but some looked really, really good. Some didn't look so good. And the ones that didn't look good, because the others looked so good, it was really noticeable to me.
Okay. All right. Drones, how about you, buddy?
I definitely have to use that too. The flying through the asteroid thing was awesome, but that actually gives me a little hope for things like caves, because realistically, it's not that much different. It's just in space. So I'm hoping that we see more cavernous type objects to fly through. I think that would be really cool, really entertaining, and also add some great dogfighting mechanics to be able to fly and use your surrounding as a weapon. That to me, that's the emerging gameplay I want to see. I want to see people flying through, curvy caverns and stuff like that in Star Citizen. So when I see they've got these mechanics going on in Squadron 42, I know that they've got them for Star Citizen. It's just a natural transition. So I hope that that's where that leads. And then the thing I liked the least out of this whole thing was, I'm going to be honest, the studio tours were a little lackluster this time. I love studio tours when they're a little more in depth, but it was just kind of hey, these guys do this, and we're moving on. I was like, give us some interaction with them.
And I don't know, part of me felt like maybe I'm judging that wrong, because I felt very similar about the studio tours, but we've seen it so much. Mm-hmm. We've seen it so much, like, this is the guy who does this. Mm-hmm. This is the guy who sits here. This is Bill. Yeah. This guy dumps the trash cans. This guy's our janitor. I'm like, that's cool. I mean, right. I get it, and I appreciate every member of the CIG team that makes this happen. But they literally spent a half an hour introducing people from multiple studios to do this. And I wonder if they, lost some viewership over that. I don't know.
I don't think so. They had
over the
17,000.
Yeah, over people losing theirs. Yeah, they had 22 in the launch of it, though. I get it. First time viewers, sure, all that stuff. But I just think either that or maybe they need to break that up, because I want everybody to be appreciated doing it, But maybe break it up. It just felt like, here's Joe. Joe's going to ditch all blah, blah, blah. There's this guy, all his team. Here's this guy, all his team. Now we'll go this dude. It just felt like it was way drawn out. I would have liked to see previous studio tours. They might have showed this guy, his team, and then a bit of animation, or you know what I mean? Something to break it up a little bit. It just felt, it literally, it made me feel sleepy a little bit, the whole studio portion of it. I was just like,
I get what you're saying. The problem is they've had Squadron 42 hidden for so long.
Yeah.
People are probably going, is anybody working on this other than a small handful of teams?
Yeah, I get that too. But like I'm saying, just a note. It wasn't a huge issue, because there wasn't a lot of problems I could point at the whole thing. But that was just something that Drone said that it kind of keyed it off. All right, Uber, what do you think, bud? What was the highlight and then the downside thing?
So I think that my highlight really was the up-to-date Moro tour, right? It wasn't.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, you're pretty quiet.
It was the Moro tour, like it was the up-to-date walking through the ship, going to different places.
Yep.
Going to the, talking to people, taking a tour of the ship.
Yeah,
that was my favorite part, where the AI reacted to you wherever you went.
Mm-hmm.
And you get close enough to somebody like Captain Noah White or whatever, and he turns to you and says, hey, and they talk to you, and then it felt very like the interaction felt two-way instead of always you clicking on things for anything to happen. You know what I'm saying? So that was really my favorite part. I guess the least favorite part was that I guess I just was being greedy. I wanted a little bit more at the end there, Yeah. I wanted it to just go a little bit further. They didn't have to finish the mission, but I did want it to go a little bit further. And I didn't like the the combat. I just felt that it wasn't very
Definitely
good.
not challenging.
Well, not that it wasn't challenging, but I just didn't feel. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it was really dark. Did anybody else see it as just being really dark the whole time, like really hard to see? And it's like, well, if they're going to make it dark, I get it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Dark is cool, but give us a way to light up our immediate surroundings, you know? Yeah. Give us a way to make things brighter for us. I don't want that. See, the one thing I don't want is for them to have a gamma slider in options so everybody can just, oh, look, I can see everything. I hate that.
Yeah, it takes away a lot of the immersion of the gameplay when you allow that.
And some people are like, well, you don't have to use the gamma slider. I'm like, no, I don't want anybody to, because then it really is gamma slider to win, right?
Yeah.
No, everybody should have to, but you should have to have, there should be things in there that give you the ability to light up the area around you. Yeah. As for being inside of a cavernous area, I would love it. Like, did you see him use the new scanner that lady supposedly installed on a ship?
Yep.
I didn't see him use it.
I heard it, and I
don't think he used it.
I think it was the old man who used it. I don't think they showed the scanner. They heard it, and they said they used it, and I think they meant to show it. And everybody in my chat was like, golf swing, and I'm like, I don't see anything, though. Where's this?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
So maybe I missed it.
Golf swing.
Well, I don't think that it happened. But I did, it might have happened, but I don't think that it happened in a way that we can see it.
Yeah.
The one thing that I've been really hoping for is some sort of, and they've said that they're going to be delivering it to us, but night vision.
Yeah.
Something like a module or something you can install on your ship, or some sort of mod that you can do to your helmets, so that you can turn it on, go into your Moby glass, turn on night vision, and you get this like a green glowy view of your surroundings. Now that would bring in a separate gameplay option of people with flashbangs. You throw a flashbang out in front of a bunch of people with night vision turned on, and their eyes are toast. Like, seriously, for 2 or 3 minutes, you're not gonna see much because it's gonna be so blinding, right? So that's there's all kinds of gameplay that can come from that, but that's really needed, because even in Star Citizen right now, if you land on the dark side of a moon, man, it's hard. You can't see squat, and the lights from the ships don't show anything. They're like, don't go far enough. So, anyways, but that was my biggest complaint about the Squadron 42 reveal, was that it was so dark in some places that I really couldn't see stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I think just adding lights, like the option of lights or more. I mean, we've seen that all through 3.0. Lights are needed on these ships. You need more lights than just your flashlight, your personal flashlight and stuff. We need more lights, more light options, even if some cases it's a weapons trade-off. But there's certain ships like the Starfarer has no lights at all. And I'm like, wow, because for all the little trim and detail lights that we see, they had to light these things to be sitting on the landing pad to look cool, not for these super dark planetary and moon environments, obviously.
Right.
Because we're in open moons that are dark. Imagine when there's a jungle. I mean, you won't see crap because there's you won't even have the night sky to illuminate anything. It's
imagine if you land on a planet like that's a, what do they call them? A smog world, right?
Yeah.
Where like Venus, where it's total 100% cloud cover. You land down there, it's dark and stormy on the nighttime side.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you're not going to see. So you're going to need lights, and floodlights on vehicles are absolutely needed.
Yeah.
Ships.
Our ships need high beams. That's what we need.
They need high beams, and then I would like to see different things like optional searchlights and stuff. Like it could be a module on there. I don't care. I mean, because there's going to be a lot of cases when you're running transport, you won't want that extra gun. But I'll tell you what, if I'm driving around in a whole series or anything else like that, or some sort of transport, I would drop a gun or two for maybe a searchlight turret or something, so that guy can point at stuff and kind of see what's going on. I'd be cool with that. You know,
Yeah.
it's not going to be a game changer if your hauler has an extra gun or not. You know, hire an escort and use the searchlights on it. But I would say my favorite part of this whole thing, there's a lot of good stuff. I loved, a lot of things you guys said, like the asteroid area and all that stuff. I love this scene right here. I love him interacting with the captain and with the commander on the ship. I like the tour. The tour was really cool, going through the whole ship. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
And I thought one of the highlights of that for me was a lot of us in chat, I don't even think we fully, and I know I didn't fully realize that this was just an Idris to begin with, because I didn't really place it until I thought about it. It's like, oh yeah, that's the name of the Idris that you start and all that stuff on. But it seems so big. Everybody's like, oh, is this a Javelin? And I'm like, this isn't even the Javelin. This is the Idris. It's so big when you get that full walkthrough with resolution and all the people you met inside and all that was amazing. But the acting in this, and I'm not a huge actor buff or anything like that, was top tier acting. I don't think I've seen acting in a game to this caliber. I don't know. And this is just a small glimpse. I mean, maybe Last of Us invoked some emotional responses in me and stuff with certain things, but that's because I'm a parent and you got the little girl in that thing and stuff for those people who play that. But this is so good. I felt like I was interacting with like a movie. Like just look at
that's
this.
What I said that on my stream when we watched it, that it felt like we were participating in a movie. It was that detailed. It was that good. In fact, do you remember the Final Fantasy Spirits Within that movie?
Yeah.
This was better than that.
Yep. For the small glimpses of what we saw, I'd 100% agree.
You know what pissed me off, though, is I saw a lot of people hating on that inner thought system because he would say it to himself, and then we clip it, then he would speak it. I love that.
I think that's
Do not take that out.
Yeah, and this is important, and this is why. And this, I'll tell everybody, for all the people that didn't like that, this is why that's so important. Because it lets you understand not just what he's saying, but the context of what he's saying, how he's saying it. Because when you say it to yourself in your head, it's like, you see smart. It looks like a smart ass comment, like some of the stuff. It's like, no, it's like he'll hover over it and it's like, oh, maybe she better not do that. You'll understand it's not like a hard no. It's a, or a soft like that. That context with them reading of how you're thinking it is important to understand what that might result in. Because there's no do-over, right? You'd have to play the whole game over probably to go back through those moments, just like a lot of games at Path and stuff, right? But I think that's really important when you have those choices. And right here where he's asking for the different combat items and stuff like that, I love the fact he hands them to you. It's not like just appeared in your inventory. It's like, that was so cool. I was like, that's really good. So I think that's important. And I could see it like Hayes saying, I could see an option to turn it off if you wanted to. Why not? It's just an audio thing and like that. It could be a cool option in the background of Squadron 42 that if you don't want them to read your inner thought, narration, inner thought, uncheck, or if you want it, check it. I like it. I think it's good. And there's a lot of
I think it's good too. I like the whole idea of because everybody has their own inner monologue,
Yep.
You're thinking things, you're saying things that you never would say out loud to people.
Yeah.
It's just so and it may not be the same thing, but to me, that's cool.
I just think it adds context because you can say, hey, stop that. But did the guy mean, hey, stop that? Or I better stop this now. Or you know what I mean? Or all that stuff. Like, I like the context. As long as it's not all, really monotone. And in this, it's not. You can see from his thoughts, it's like he's actually got, when it's a real choice, he actually has some dynamic to it, and I like that a lot.
Right.
So I'm sure it'll polish up and all that. But the thing I hated, and I'm gonna cheat because I actually got two. I hate the fact that there wasn't more illumination options. We've said that several times. I hate that fact, and I absolutely thought I thought the AI FPS would be way farther than it is. Like the actual FPS shooting aspect, not the frames, but the AI in response, it seemed like it was really dumb.
like I said,
The
like, I
AI
watched
flight's
through
great.
Everybody.
Interaction with the characters on the ship, awesome. But him sneaking up on a guy from like 50 yards, slow walking to stab him in the neck, I was like,
Oh yeah. That part
was
bothered me.
That bothered me a lot. And then he gets in the gunfight, and the first guy's just standing there. And then the second guy, like, he's all tactical looking around. And the other guy, one character did try to flank, and I liked that. It did try to flank and intelligent come that way. And then he had to, like, if you notice when he's playing it, he had to trigger the last guy. He had to go back and forth and, like, try to get him to come out. And then the guy came out and stood in the middle of the hall, and he capped him. And I was like, yeah, it needs some work. But again, early alpha, all that stuff. How about this creepy janitor guy? This guy was like...
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah,
I like
I
it
was
when
like,
everybody's in
yay.
battle stations, so that way I can clean the ship. I'm like, all right, dude.
You're gonna find out in Squadron 42. He's the guy that murders somebody on the
Yeah,
ship.
he like kills the
Telling
captain
you,
or something.
Coming. I'm calling it now. Yeah.
Find
Yeah,
body parts in his lock.
yeah. We're gonna watch this a bunch of times. Did you see all the models back there
Mm-hmm.
of all the ships?
And what do you call them? The pods that used to be in our hangars for going into like Arena Commander and stuff.
If you-
They're on the ship too. I
yeah,
saw
after
those.
he goes
sticking
by
out.
the creepy janitor, when he goes down the stairs, you'll see all the models of all the cap ships and stuff on the shelf on the right. And I'm like, yep, we'll be seeing all that. So there was a lot of aspects to it that I'd say you can't capture
Chip
it all. in
Lady
one
spoke.
video.
Yes, Lurch.
So
Lurch is calling out. Chip Lady spoke. Yes, we had a whole section for Chip Lady. It was awesome. Thank you,
Yeah.
Chip Lady. We love you.
look at all those over there. Badass. I don't know why they're there. I mean, you get a lot of models, a lot of stuff. It's kind of a weird place to do it, but that's cool.
But you see the pods off to the right, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like this.
Yep.
So this is how you're going to change your loadout on
Mm-hmm.
your ship. Now, I would like this. So when I saw this, I thought to myself, wouldn't it be cool if they would do this in our hangar with the consoles in our hangar? So you pull up your Gladius, you change your loadout, and then NPCs come in and change it.
And
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I assume that's what they're changing it to, because you guys remember the old holo table, right? That they had in there?
Yeah.
Because the old holo table was like, what, blue on white, like blinding you. You couldn't see hardly anything, and you had to pivot the ship around and kind of drag and hopefully hard point mount different pieces on different ships. And some ships it was easy. Other ships were very convoluted on where the hard points were, and it was problematic. And then they were like, oh, we'll just have you snap them on outside, and then you have to run around your ship like an idiot and like look at every hard point and snap on them. I'm like, eh. And that, to be honest, that's honestly the reason why I have not reconfigured a ship since early 2.0. I just don't care enough to like snap all these modules on there to go do it to try to perfect it and all that stuff. I fly everything default. If you have an interface like this, and I assume this is what they're going to go to, because they said they've already redone something of that nature. I think they just didn't want to show it, probably because they were doing it for the Squadron 42. That we'll see this come that way, and I think it's
bothers
gonna be
me is there's 3 ships on Idris, right? You can have
3 ships
they have
in
one table.
Yeah.
They need more than one table.
Well, 3 ships, as far
What do you-
as can be on
you
the
mean
runway
like
at once.
configuration.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
here looking down, on the flight deck.
Yeah.
But there's only
Right.
one table.
I think you're going to be able to configure it through your Mobi-Glass, too. I almost remember, I don't know in Squadron 42, but I think in the multiplayer they said that you're going to be able to do it either through the app or on your Mobi-Glass, and then it'll be ready when you queue it up. Like, so if, say, you're riding somewhere, you can pre-configure your ship as long as you have those parts in inventory. So I don't think it's going to be a big issue, because since this is on the single-player one, I don't think you're going to have, like, a line. You'll have, like, maybe Mark Hamill taking it up for you, but...
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I
there.
think that's right. I think that because this is the single player,
Yeah.
you're not going to have a line. Now, another thing that I thought about is all the work that they're doing on Squadron 42. Do we know how many systems are going to be in the first episode?
How many solar systems?
Yeah. How many
I
systems
have
are we?
absolutely no idea.
No clue.
No clue
Not
if it's
even
in a
a
very
hint
volatile...
to
Do
my
you guys
knowledge.
think that that those will be the systems that they add into the game when they go to 4.0, that kind of thing?
It would make sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Squadron 42 will have already been released. So all of us will have already played it. You know, even Dr. Jones.
What?
He'll play.
I'll
it.
probably
You'll
do it
absolutely play
like
it.
I've been doing with. I'll do it like I've been doing missions in 3.0. I'll start them. 3 hours later, we will have accomplished nothing. So that's we'll probably spend the entire streams watching like me walk around in Idris.
I would say I don't believe that. You know why? Because the acting in this is so good. I think it's going to make us want to progress the story.
It is pretty good.
Because when I get in a story-based game, it's more I want to go through. It's like watching a movie and pausing it in the middle. It's like, nah, I want to go through the whole thing and do that. I guarantee after I play through once, I'll be like, oh, I wanted to go back and choose all the bad options, you know? And like, it's like what happens. Like, I'll tell her, hell no, you don't get any meds. Oh no, I don't want that. All I want's a butter knife. You know, it's like, see what happens that way. But I know the first time through, I'm going to want to just grind on the story and enjoy it, look around a little bit and that stuff. And I'll probably take my time, but I'm going to want to go through the story.
Me too, and I'm gonna do that on stream. I know that some of my viewers are gonna be like, oh, I don't want to see that. I don't want it spoiled for me. But for me, I definitely want to do that.
I stream what I play, baby. So it will definitely be on stream. We'll just put up a big thing says Squadron 42 playthrough, and it'll happen. Yeah. And I don't think it'll ruin it for anybody though, because I think you're gonna have so many options of like doing certain things and experiencing it. Even though you know there's a fight coming or something like that, you're going to experience it your way, in certain things.
Right.
Your loadout. Like even here it's showing you'll be able to customize your ship to some degree to go out on this mission right here. So maybe you chose different weapons and maybe you chose a little bit different paths. So we'll see. I'm just curious how far the rabbit hole goes. Did they make story arcs that just deviate a little bit and come back to middle? Or is their whole branching? You know what I mean? Like a whole branch, like this story could go way out this way. Maybe it comes to center at the end, but like you could choose a whole branch path that takes you, maybe you become friends with the pirates or something and go this way and do some different stuff. And then you come back to middle on it. So it'll be interesting to see how impactful your choices really are, or if they're just like, hey, we let you choose blue from green or what.
Right.
So if I know Chris Roberts, if they did it the way he wants it, you'll get some great deviations, very much like original Mass Effect type stuff. You'll still come to center on big events, but how you got there may be totally different from one to the other. So I think that'll be cool. And if they did that, it's going to offer a lot of replayability.
Shoot the hostage.
Yeah, shoot the hostage. There you go. But yeah, wouldn't it be cool if at the end of the story you might finish with different crew members? Like some die during the path of it, but then your choices could impact which ones live. Or maybe you could choose the perfect solution to get everybody out alive. Those type of things are what really make a difference, because then it matters how it ends for you. Like, oh, I did the way where we saved the captain, but we lost the lieutenant and my wingman, and Hamill died in that one. Or, oh, I saved the old man, and the captain lived, but then everybody on the flight deck died. It's like, or I accidentally spaced everybody. All those options, that's what amuses me in a single player game. If I have all those options and stuff, then I'll play it a lot. But otherwise, it'll be a single playthrough and that's it.
How do you think they're going to do the save game, just like they did it in Wing Commander? Like you have to go to the bed?
I would think so, because it makes sense with everything else that's going to happen to Star Citizen, right? When you log out, it's the bed. So I would assume everything's going to relate to the bed, just to kind of program you, especially since this is basically, as what they say, is supposed to be a tutorial for the MMO, right? So you would think all the game systems will work the same. Yeah. So I would choose that, Yeah, or like Darth Vader's mom's talking about, you could choose companions, like different people you develop a relationship with on the ship become your wingmen or your companions to do different missions out there on the thing. That'd be cool. Yeah. If you get a bad rep with Morrow, maybe he tells you to F off and then he never helps you again. But if you build a relationship with a different character, then they'll be your buddy, and maybe you get inside guns and special stuff. That'd be cool. That'd be really neat. But no, I can't wait to see these aspects of that. And I'm already seeing different stuff than what I saw the first time we watched it.
Yeah, it's exciting
and stuff. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. All right, so one of the things that I noticed that was interesting. And this is my other one. This is a chief rival for we talking about him acting in the beginning with the Onion Knight. This right here was so good to me. This sequence where they're getting these guys out. I'm even going to play a little audio on it because it's like, I really like this where they get the prisoners out of the ship.
Yes.
It was so good, the interaction on that, and it just felt like people can
Did
say
you
whatever they want.
recognize the big guy?
I can't place his name. I 100% seen him. I cannot.
He's one of the developers from the UK.
Yeah, I don't know his name though. I can't remember his name.
He was introduced to us at the beginning of the of the show. So, but yeah, that's.
OMC's gonna have to teach you.
Does anybody in chat remember his name?
Are you looking to start trouble?
Everyone's saying 3.0 is going live tomorrow.
Just trying to get a rise up.
3.0 is out for everybody, every backer,
Right now.
I mean, in the PTU.
There's literally no difference. Yeah.
Does not matter.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's going live is now just a matter of how many bugs can they kill.
This is
Other
crazy.
moves.
Especially with the Delta patch, like it's mad.
I'm not in a hurry.
Yeah. Ain't like we're gonna be here long.
It's so good.
Ain't like they're
I mean,
gonna
it
be
looks
here long
good,
either.
but this is all
What the hell are you all going
the
on
sequence, though.
It's very
You
simple.
won't have any interaction in this part.
We're OMC.
Yeah.
Watch, you get to watch it.
But the thing is, you get no difference in the detail on their faces from this to going live, and that's something that I keep wanting to point out. Because if you look at a game like Tomb Raider, I'm gonna mute that. But if you look at a game like Tomb Raider, it goes into detail textures on their face like that, and then when you go gameplay, it's pastel, right? Because it's like, oh, now we're fighting, and it's like going down. We'll go real low res on the characters and all this stuff. This doesn't change. Like the detail only changes on your distance. If you're interacting with them in live gameplay and you're 3 feet away from them, they look like this. If you're moving 20 feet away from them, then they look less. But it's about your range to character, not about a movie moment, And I think that's a chief distinction that people need to just go ahead and do that stuff. So I really hope they are going to go live with that, aren't they? God damn it. I think that's a mistake.
Yeah.
But those moments are really important in the game.
I love the locker, how it actually shows your items in it now. So you know what you're putting on. That's long overdue.
Oh, CIG. The one thing I can say in their defense, even though I don't think it's a good idea for them to go live, I'll say that publicly. I've said it the whole time. I think Open PT would be the same thing. But the fact that they have officially announced that they are going live tomorrow on it now. Emails just went out 15 minutes ago. So they are going live with it. Is hands down the PTU build that we're playing right now is better than 2.63. There's nothing, I can't.
Oh yeah.
It's better. Because in 2.63 you still crash, all this stuff still happens, but they're going live tomorrow with it, so
Yay.
I don't know. I don't know.
Unfortunately, that means I can no longer erase and recopy my account to get past the insurance claims. Not that I would do that.
What? I did it all the time.
Yep. I did it because my ships didn't have doors.
Yeah,
that fixes it.
Indeed.
So while I haven't seen that problem yet in this present build, I hope it does.
So, okay. So here's the thing, though, which I am having a hard time understanding. We have cargo in, but it's so far there. What's the purpose?
What was that?
We have cargo in the game. You can fill your ship with cargo, but it's price.
I've actually been meaning to test that out. Is it indeed the same no matter where you go right now?
Yes.
Well, I don't know about this patch.
Yeah, we don't know about
but
live.
I don't know about
Yeah.
this patch or live, but I can tell you in the past patches it's been the same.
Yeah. That's
So
because I want to use that that mechanic. And
I want to do cargo, and I know that they've been working in the interdiction stuff going on. So
Yep. I've yet to be interdicted, by the way. I've made tons of jumps.
I have not
Yet-
been
yet
interdicted
to be
once. But
But I see
be
other
fair-
people like make their first jump and poof.
to be fair, I jumped maybe 3 times before I crashed because I only jumped about 3 times during the course of an
Gotcha.
hour or two because I end up interacting at wherever I'm at. So if somebody's
Yeah.
making a bunch of jumps, maybe that's different.
okay, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. That's crazy.
What
Oh,
is-
the map system that he's using on his ship, awesome. Did you guys look at that? The way
I've
you can-
used it in my ship.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, so I actually they at first it came in, it was pretty broken, and then it like the like if you were in the yellow asteroid, all the asteroids appeared everywhere around your ship, the blue map asteroids. But that they fixed that pretty quick. So and then it just was so good. But here's the thing that makes me excited, and what. So I am excited for Squadron 42 to come out, but I'm more excited, I guess you could say, for Squadron 42 to come out and release assets that will come to Star Citizen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And when Squadron 42 has come out, I know they say, "Oh, we're going to get people working right away on the second episode, the second chapter, or whatever, however they're calling them."
Mhm.
I think that's going to be at least a 6-month kind of, like delayed start on working on the next chapter. I think they're going to really push on Star Citizen. So yeah, it's just it's one of those things that is.
Well, they're going to want a lot of new assets for the second, part of Squadron 42 anyways, because, I mean, they'll use a lot of the same ships and stuff like that, but as far as, meeting new people and missions and interactions and stuff, they're going to want all new stuff for that.
Well, sure, but I don't think they're going to start right away.
Yeah.
I think they're going to push into getting Star Citizen more. I think they really want to see, once Squadron 42 is out, then they can really focus on Star Citizen. And since they both these games share almost all the assets, let's just say all the assets except for netcode, right? All the assets are shared between the two games. So, to me, it seems only logical that really putting their work on Star Citizen into high gear would go. So,
Yep. Yeah, I think it's going to be important to, I just really want to see how they deal with the Delta Patcher in the live build. I think it's going to be very similar to what we've seen so far in the PTU. I think we're going to see a lot of bug fixes and updates that way.
I think they're going to be breathing easy when it comes to that. I mean, think about it. Before, if a really big bug that just ruined a bunch of backers' gameplay was found, there was no fixing it for at least a month or two.
I just, my concern is what happens with the PTU. Are they just going to shut it down again? Are we going to see?
Yeah.
We're not going to see a new PTU till 3.1 drops into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For
But-
Evocati.
The problem I have
but
with that is like there's a lot of stuff that's kind of still not in that they kind of scraped out of 3.0. I'd like to see them play with some of those builds and kind of put some stuff in, have Evocati work, just test it out. Like, say they don't have the differences in prices and stuff like that. They probably won't. You're probably right, but I'm just saying I want
They already
them to.
said it was content complete. This is content complete. That's it for 3.0.
That's right. But anything they add in would be
Yeah.
testing towards 3.1 between now and then. Even if
Yeah.
it's stuff they dropped, it's just in PTU. I'm not saying to put it in PTU to push it to this until next quarter, but I would be playing with those pieces the whole time so you're not in crunch time come to the quarter and be like, yeah, didn't make it. You need to. I really am an advocate of keeping the PTU live for Evocati and internal testing and stuff, and as you keep pumping content to it and build from there, because they said 3.0 is the building block. They shouldn't need a whole different build to build upon to do that. They should be able to add shit to what they have now, like they said, and build it out and just make iterative patches to keep adding content to it. I mean, that's the way they kind of sold it. I would hope they would do that in testing, but we'll see what they do. I mean, they might. That's what other games do. I mean, literally, EVE Online and every other game that has an active test server, it's a mere copy of the build plus shit they shove into it to see what sticks. That's what they do. And then if it doesn't work, they don't care. They just delete it, rewind it, and put the other stuff in and fix it on that end while you're playing the live game on the other side.
So is there anything in Spectrum about the Squadron 42 schedule?
I don't think we've seen anything yet. They just released to a jump point. I don't know if they've gotten to... We should be getting the monthly newsletter, though, right? Or did they do that at the beginning of next month?
I don't know, but they said that we were going to get.
Yeah, a production schedule for Squadron 42.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where's that?
I haven't dug deep for it, but I haven't seen it either.
So
I don't think it's out.
Yeah, but we were supposed to get that with the live stream. So
Oh yeah.
that's what they said. You know?
Yep.
I mean, I'll give these guys the benefit of the doubt, but
Yeah.
I want it.
I think it's important. And it's more important, not so much about because of Squadron 42 and all that stuff. It's because they said they were going to give it to us.
Tactical Ace, they did not add more missions to Squadron 42, but they added complexity to the missions
And
back in 2015 when they were like, hey, look at that. We discovered how to make procedural planets. It's like, so because you saw that today. Today was them showing off, yes, start off on a carrier, fly through an asteroid field, combat some bad guys. When you fly to a junkyard around a moon, or was that a moon or a planet? I don't remember. Planet anyways, so and then fly down, land on the planet, and go and do combat on the So all of that was because of basically the open world concept, and that's being put into Squadron 42. So no, they didn't add more chapters. Squadron 42, unlike Star Citizen, is more limited by the story itself. It's limited by the script. Now they added a bunch of smaller lines, but that's just when you walk by. We noticed that too.
Yeah.
What do they call those guys?
Banner.
No, not that. When you walk by, it's like the throwaways, right? Is that what they call them?
They actually used the term when they were introducing the writing team, and I can't remember what they called it.
Yeah, I think it's called the throwaways or the wild lines. That's
Wild
it.
lines.
Thank you,
That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, because
So
they're just
wild
ad hoc
lines are
stuff.
when you walk by. Yeah, it's the ad hoc stuff. When you walk by somebody, they'll just throw one of these wild lines out, and they had to. So I guess there were 100 or so pages extra of just the wild lines, right? And but the thing is that the story itself was written way back when, and they haven't added to the actual story. What they have added, though, like I was saying, is the procedural planets, is the mission that, like, they probably had to rescue this pilot.
Yeah.
But at that point, it probably was maybe land on a space station, go in there and rescue the pilot. Now it's go find the pilot's ship, see they're not there, get an emergency transponder beacon or something for their flight suit, follow it down to the surface of the planet. Stuff that never could be done before, but
Yeah, there's the more I think about it, there's a lot of elements that, now that we know we're going to be waiting until at least March, April, right? Because it'd be April technically, end of March, if they're going on regular quarters. I mean, we don't have breaching or any of those aspects in. We didn't really get the cargo trade system in. We'll see what it looks like in the new build,
I want to know what. So
Yeah.
I was thinking, because I've talked to a bunch of different NPCs in the verse, and right now they're, oh, I got a delivery. Oh, so there's this kind of back and forth that you can do, but it's just really limited. It would be nice to be able to go to one of those NPCs, because I saw that they have now put them in all of the landing zones on the moons that have landing pads, right, where you can summon a ship. They also have a trade console, and beside that, there's an NPC. So what I'd like to see is like, oh, hey, the ArcCorp Mining Corporation has a need for food supplies. Could you please bring a load of food, right? And so you have to go and you accept the contract. You go fly to, Olisar. You load your ship up with food, fly back to Daymar, go to the place, land, sell it, and maybe you make an extra, you bought it for 2 UEC per, and now you sell it for 3 UEC per.
Yeah, the only way I've seen so far in the present build to generate real revenue without having to go grind missions necessarily. You can't really do port-to-port trade, unless this latest build they changed the pricing. But you can go and pick up like salvage, like, if you find like salvage crates and stuff at different sites and things of that, you can go pick those up and sell those directly. Now that is something you can do. You just have to wait for more to spawn and all that. And it allows you that emergent gameplay that you don't have to be on a mission. You don't have to be doing all that stuff. But that's the only way so far. And I would like to see the trade system where we could trade between ports come in, because then if they had that aspect, and which now, I mean, if it's not in the present build, then we know we're going to be waiting until April for it. I would encourage them to make sure they get that in the next quarter build, along with scanning and things that allow us to kind of track, and hopefully the beacon system, those things. Because really, unless we have those elements in, it's hard to, you can't break into somebody's ship. All we can do is be destructive at this point.
Yeah.
You aren't getting somebody's loot unless you blow them up.
Right.
Or they surrender it to you. And you can't interdict them yet. So more than likely, we'll just have to blow up their ship and hope there's scraps left over. Right? So there's,
and you got no way to interact to like try and hold them hostage to
or
get
haul
stuff.
them or anything yet. I mean, it's coming, and I'm not trying to be overly critical, but it's like, I really wish they would have held the locking until they had the breaching in, some of these other balances like that, where you have the counter systems for the main systems. Like, you can breach. Oh, here's locking, because that was the way it was intended to be rolled in. I know they just didn't have the other part ready yet, so that's just kind of the way it goes. But unfortunately, it just makes me explode your ship to get anything inside now.
Yep.
So this debris field was amazing too. The nebulas, the debris fields and stuff. This is insane. Insanely good.
And the all the debris falling down and burning up in the atmosphere.
Oh, yeah, because I was like, are those asteroids? I'm like, no, it's like big chunks of debris. And you can see it entering real slowly. Like, you can even see it in this shot over there on the left and stuff. Like, and I don't know, like, how they do that. Is it, like, spawning and doing it, or is it just, like, generated and falling, or I don't know, but that's really cool.
Well, that was my question, because they showed one of the guns shooting to pieces.
Yeah.
I wonder if you shot the pieces in your ship, would it burn up too?
Yeah, or is it just, like, background stuff? Which, background stuff's wholly acceptable in a single-player game. It's whatever. But they don't want to do that, so I'd be really interested to find out what the answer to that is. So,
I'm curious about that, too.
Yeah.
I want to clear out the asteroid field.
Yeah.
To sit there, you sit there all day with a Redeemer or Reclaimer.
Shoot it all.
So they, I like also the information about the, like the Idris is in final art phase. They did give a lot of explanations about why it's not in the game, in Alpha 3.0, or because it looks finished, but it's not.
It's not.
So there's a lot of stuff that it's a big asset. In fact, it's a big collection of assets. And I like how the guy also explained that they didn't know how they were going to create these huge multi-crew ships, and then they came up with the object container streaming aspect, and then they had to go, okay, so how do we split up the ship?
Yeah.
Right? So this is now something that they've had to work on, not only within the ships, but object container streaming objects within object containers.
Yep.
Right? So
Throughout the entire game, really. I mean, you
everywhere.
break down, everything is an object container, and they showed that about middle last year. Me and Toy looked at that on one of the other SpaceBro shows, where they showed the huge grid map of different scales and size of object containers and how everything fits in that and stuff. You know, so it's really interesting. And if you guys haven't watched it yet, if you're on the Discord and you get some time to, there's 2 videos on there that we linked in the Star Citizen area, and that's from the My Radar interviews where they did, one with Chris Roberts, one with Tony Z. And Chris actually even talks about one of the reasons why the Idris isn't quite ready for prime time. And he said because while he has stations built that are AI ready for the AI to sit there and act out their role, they aren't ready for player interface yet. Because there's so many stations, and that's a big portion why it's in the game. I don't think they want to do any more like the Connie, where they have a blank panel and it's just there, and then they'll fill in the gap later. I think they want to deliver the completed ship for the most part on a big ship like that too.
Right. I think that what they're realizing is that they need to have, now that these multi-crew ships are becoming more fleshed out, now that we're getting this more of this a real multi-crew kind of interaction. Like the other day when the patch where all the landing pad full bug.
Yeah.
So some people were able to summon ships, and they were like being real cool about it, going, "Hey man, I got a Connie. Anybody need a ride?" And so we get rides to other locations. And I got onto a Connie with let's see, there was both turrets were full, all 3 seats were full, plus there were 3 people in the common area. Right, so there's a lot of people in this Connie, and then we flew to Grim Hex, and they dropped us off there, and I went and was able to summon a ship.
That's awesome.
But then I had the bug, like, so I was in my civvies inside of Grim Hex, and then I had the bug where, you know, you bring up your Moby Glass and no mouse, right? So you can't interface. Although after I killed myself in the airlock, because I thought if I kill myself in the airlock at Grim Hex, I'll wake up in Grim Hex. Nope,
not so much.
That really stinks. You should wake up if you die at Grim Hex. You should wake up in maybe you don't wake up in a stateroom, but you should wake up like in, you know, they need to have infirmaries in each place. You know what I'm saying?
That would be.
So, I agree.
Yeah, that would make sense.
It would.
So because and then I would love to be able to go to Grim Hex, go up. Maybe they should have a guy like you know how in those slum, you know, those slum motels in the city where you're like, hey, you want to rent a room for 60 minutes, or, you know, like that kind of stuff. But people go and they live there at these flop houses.
What kind of hotels do you frequent there, Uber? It's like,
no, you see this on TV all the time, man. I don't go to those kinds of rooms, but the worst I've ever been to is like a Motel 6.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that you see on, God, what was that? There was a no. In when I started watching Jessica Jones, the Marvel thing. Right?
Yeah.
So she had a friend who was living at one of these flop houses, and it was, you know, you could rent by the hour.
Yep.
You could also live. There were people living there because they were pretty inexpensive, but they were disgusting, right? So, but the guy he was behind a cage, and you'd go and rent the stuff from him, right? So I was thinking, wouldn't that be cool to have a guy behind a cage up there on that little walkway between all of the that would rent rooms to you at Grim Hex. So if you wanted to be stationed at Grim Hex, you could just go to that guy and say, yeah, I'd like a room, and all right, you know.
Yeah,
and maybe they, you know, anyways, that's what I would like to see.
That would be cool.
That would be something cool. And you could do the same thing at Levski. Yeah. So if you wanted to be at Port Olisar, you could just stay there because that's where the default wake up is. But if you wanted to go to Levski, or if you wanted to go to and be stationed or be living at Grim Hex or be living at Levski, you could do it, you know? So what does it take to spawn at Levski, you know?
Yeah. Official hotel.
I died in the elevator Levski, and I did spawn at Levski, so you don't need a criminal rating to spawn at Levski.
It's interesting.
I wonder if they fixed the elevator yet.
I think Motel 6 might still be better than where me and Toy stayed in Frankfurt, though. So,
Oh, for crap's sake. Get over it.
man.
Hey, we
What do
didn't
you guys-
lose anything in the room. They didn't steal anything.
Yeah.
And we slept just fine.
Yeah.
We were able to sleep and shower and leave.
Hey, what do you guys think of the new Avenger mod?
I like it.
Oh, dude. Awesome.
Way better.
Do you guys think that you might end up buying rebuying an Avenger for that?
I'll buy one in game. I'm going to own every ship in game, but I don't think I'm going to buy one explicitly for that. Now, depending on how the EMP stuff works, overall in the overall scope of gameplay, I might end up with a Warlock again.
I think the Warlock's going to be far more powerful than it is now.
Yeah, I think
I
so.
bought
too,
a Warlock
unfortunately.
way back in the day. I still got it. So
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
glad I
It'll
did.
be a resentful purchase, though, on my part. It'll be kind of like I own a Super Hornet because it's OP. If I buy the Warlock, it would be purely for the functionality of it's OP, and I have to have one because it's meta. That would be why I would own it.
Yeah.
I'm having a problem with the whole EMP thing because there's no balance to it yet. Well, as they flesh out game mechanics,
Yeah.
I think I'll accept it a lot more. But right now, it's just so overpowered by comparison to anything else because we don't have anything else out there. It looks beautiful. I love the effects of it. I think it could be worked into the gameplay well. It's not ready for that yet. And when I can fly a Connie and a guy can suppress and kill me in a Avenger with a EMP on it, I'm just not really. I don't know. I just feel like that's not balanced to me. Something about it.
Yeah.
And there's no counter for it. There's no way to avoid it. And if you're in atmosphere, once they add the collision damage, because right now, the moons are still spongy, right?
Right.
Whenever you're flying, if you get EMP'd, you're just dead because you're going to hit the dirt before you reboot.
Well, I think they really do need to. That you do have eject, but you don't.
Not
have a
in all
parachute.
ships. Try that in a Starfarer.
Yeah.
You're kind of hosed. You're gonna hit. I tried to bail out of a Starfarer today and run down and grab a Gray Cat just to throw it out of the back. And when I opened up the back, I was already on the ground. It's like
Yeah, I had the same experience.
Yeah, because it
I had the
comes down
exact same
so
experience.
fast, which is awesome. But at the same time, it's like that should explode or something. It's like I opened up, it's like
Yeah.
beep beep beep. Like it landed so
Also,
well.
I think fall speed should be determined by the amount of gravity.
I
think
would
that should be
I would
one,
think
too.
so too. And I don't know that it's not, but
Yeah.
I'm just
What I
saying.
was happy about originally, and then
Mhm.
I got pissed off, and now I'm happy again, is
Sounds like
when
daily
I first
day in the toy grubbin's
concepted
house.
these ships, they talked about being modular.
Yeah.
So what we thought was, okay, you're going to have a base body of a ship, and you'll be
Mhm.
able to put modules in the ship, and it might change the look a little bit, but your base of your ship is going to be the same. Well, then they come out
Yeah.
with 3-4 different models of Avengers,
The variations metric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and now they're going back to the modular.
It's on a
again.
per ship basis too. Different
Well-
ships are modular, other ones are variant based. It just depends on the model.
So the Warlock is not modular. It is variant. They hollowed out the inside. There's no going back from the Warlock. You don't have
They said,
But they said
thought
they're
they
going to make
said,
it
no.
modular again.
no.
but
no.
when it's
Oh.
got the thing in it, it's not going to have room for anything
Right.
else. It's taking the
none of the-
entire cargo bay. To do
No. It takes more than the
EMP.
cargo bay. It's basically the whole inside of the ship is all geared towards that. That's the only one that they kind of indicated is not a modular kind of. The other ones, like the Stalker and the
Titan.
Titan, you can take out the cells, right? And I think
Yeah.
that's what they wanted before, anyways, is you to be able to take out the cells.
I think the thing is they didn't plan on the EMP one. You know what
the
I mean?
modules that they're talking about are the power plants, the shield generators, the all of those modules that they were putting in there that they then just took up too much room. If you wanted to have the shield generator and the coolers and all of that stuff in there, then you ran out of space in your ship because all these units that you have to interact with, they all have to have like these doors. If you open up a door, like they showed in the Squadron 42 video today, you open up a door and you take out this power plant or you take out the shield generator, and how many shield generators does a Avenger have? How many power plants? How many coolers does it have? Right? You get and then the flight computer, right? So you have all of these different modules. I mean, when they were talking about modular, I think there was a little bit of fungibility in the way that they talked about it, because then it did bleed over a little bit into, and you can take the cells out and give more cargo.
I think
space.
they're going to make it 100% modular again, because the Avenger.
I don't think.
I think they will. I don't think they should, but I think they're going to, because they
did it with the 600i. Mm-hmm. Because you could swap out the interior for the 600i to make it the exploration or make it the terrain.
Yeah, but the 600i is also an expensive ship.
It is. But originally, that's what the constellations were going to be, and then they changed their whole model. And then made the 3 different
and we'll see what they do with the Avenger long term, but I think they're going to make it modular. The reason why they were justified in not doing that with every variant is, you remember they had the exact same issue with the Vanguard. The Vanguard, originally, there was going to be a few models, and they had a battle pack, and you could change them out for whether you wanted to be one or the other and all that stuff. But then comes the Hoplite, and the Hoplite's not part of the modular series, even though it's the same body frame. You couldn't make it a troop transport and then switch over to Warden, they said. They said because the Hoplite is just the Hoplite. So I don't know if they'll cop out and do that with the Warlock and say the Warlock is like the Hoplite, where it's just going to be that one model. I do know you should be able to change from the Stalker to the Titan and all that stuff with the right battle packs, so to speak. Yeah. We don't know if they're going to do it with the AMP one, though. I don't think they will, or I don't think they should, but they may do it, because there has been a lot of stuff that we talked in chat today about it, and they did kind of mention that they're like, it just takes up the cargo area, and I don't know if that's right, but there was some talk back and forth about it. So I've heard it both ways from devs, so I don't know what the intention is now. But
I don't think that they will. I think that it'll end up. I'm calling it they won't.
The great battle of wills.
Yeah.
The Uber versus the toy. Who's going to win? Bro down.
That's right. You owe me a coffee if I win, and I'll buy you a coffee.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. So I loved this, where they're flying through the canyons.
I think they should have had more story with this, because they showed the guns shooting the trash coming down. They should have had like an automated system saying, we shoot anything that's flying because we think it's trash come in. That way it forces you to fly in these canyons.
Mm-hmm. Somebody else mentioned that a lot of portions of this were really long, and they were kind of surprised if this was the game, why there wasn't more dialogue. I whispered them back, and I told them, I said, the reason I think that it seems really long is you're probably going to be rushing through this a lot more, or they anticipate you doing that because you can, whereas they're trying to show off the game. This flight won't take, like, you know what I mean, like 10 minutes, because you're going to whiz through the canyon more unless you're gawking looking at all the stuff. But they're just going a lot slower, and that's why some of these sequences seemed longer than probably what they'll play out in the actual single-player game.
Well,
but see, I like they're forcing you to,
I
think
agree.
It would be better if they forced you into those canyons to fly through it.
Maybe they make you learn the hard way, Toy. Maybe you first time you fly over, they just blast you out of the damn sky, and then you're like,
I hope so.
You know what
I
mean?
I don't think there's going to be any warning, because remember, isn't it an abandoned mining facility?
But it's got the defenses on, because remember he had to go shut off and like the
I don't know. I've never been in the habit of warning people that I'm about to shoot them.
Yeah, right. Sorry, I don't think it's going to happen. I think that you're going to save it. Like, you're going to have to do the mission all over again.
Yep.
I got.
I think that's why they didn't show that.
Absolutely good with that.
Yep, I'm 100% good with that. I think that's why they didn't show it too. The first, I remember this part from the video. Holy shit! And you like explode, and you're like, okay, maybe it's a little bit different than I saw in the video, So I think that's good stuff. So, freeze or I'll shoot. This isn't like the regular police department.
This is internet spaceships. We don't
Yeah.
freeze or else shoot. We just shoot.
Yeah, absolutely. Shoot first, then explain why you shot them if they lived through it.
Yep.
Right.
But yeah, now we're getting into the parts. I mean, this is such a cool looking area, and now we get into the parts that like I had a problem with too, where we start getting some of the weird animation stuff with the knives and the weird approaches and
Well,
stuff like that.
one of my viewers asked me, how would we know where the power supply is? I said, well, did you see what he took it out of? It looked like a piece of, like a loader or like some sort of piece of machinery. When the person realized, oh, there's a power supply slot here.
Yeah.
I'll just go around and look for another power supply slot. He saw one. I think we will eventually recognize the power supply slots.
And we don't know
life
what
support
part of
Yeah,
this.
that comes with time.
Yeah, we don't know how far into the story this is. I believe this is like
Right.
it's past the first initial mission, obviously.
I think they said, didn't they say that you were like 2 or 3 missions past
Something
the
like
first
that, because you
mission?
already been
This
in
is
at
not
least dogfighting as a wingman for Mark Hamill at least once already.
You're not on your starting ship.
Yeah.
So this is not your the Idris is not your starting ship. I think you're a loner fighter jockey to the Idris, from your starter ship or whatever. I think that's kind of one of the rumors I've heard. But see, here we are. There's a power supply, right? He knows that. Oh crap, needs power supply.
And this is where that tip system would come in handy too, that they talked about before, where it kind of told you a written tip at the bottom, like, if you didn't know.
The tips are, I think that would come with a setting in your, like easy.
Yeah,
medium,
or maybe you've run
insane.
into this already. Like, you don't know. You might have run into had to swap out the power supply like early in the game or something. The only concern I had is like, how does he know where to go or what to do? There's no like real visual clues.
Well, so here's the thing. What I would like to see
Mm-hmm.
is to do a basic change out of stuff like this in a really first level tutorial. Say, okay, we're going to do a little bit of training here. We got to make sure that you're on top of your game when we get to these locations, because we don't know what we're going to meet. So you get to and then he hands you your first ever what do they call the repair bear tool?
Yeah.
So hands you
paw
your
tool, or whatever they call it now?
Your paw, yeah. So okay, so did you see that? He took that from the ship, right? And not a ship, but I think it's like some sort of like a earth mover or something like that. That's what I thought that he took it out of. He came out here. He saw,
it looked like some kind of excavator or something.
Yeah, it looked like an excavator. So he found some thing. He saw that, oh look, he opened it up and found, oh, there's a power supply, right?
Yep.
So I think that we will be able to recognize those things. I don't think they want to give it to where there'll be hints all the time. I think that
I don't think all the time, no, but I just maybe we're missing the initial, like, hey, so you recognize what this is, because I wouldn't know that without some sort of initial.
Right. And so right now, when you get into a ship, how hard is it for you to start the ship up and to
Pretty easy now.
Yeah, right. So I think that that's going to be the same way. They'll have some initial stuff for us to get into that will help us to learn how to use the paw tool, learn how to replace a power supply, learn how to replace air. See, there it is. That's the crawler thing that he took the thing out of. Anyways, that was what I was. But there will be small little training missions that will go through that somebody will show us how to replace this, repair this, use the paw tool to cut something to open up a, like he does later on, right?
Absolutely.
We get to see how he opens up that grate in the, to get through that area. So he had to use the paw tool to cut through, right? So there's going to be, and maybe the paw tool, when it comes in, is going to be our way to get into people's ships.
I'd be cool with that too.
Could be.
I would be too.
I'd be fine with that as an option. I think there's going to be multiple ways to enter a ship. I think you're going to have like breaching charge you could do. You're going to have the paw tool. I would think the paw tool would be the preferred method, because you'd want to actually not damage the items you're trying to get out of the ship, so
Right.
That would be preferred, but I think there'd be multiple avenues of doing it, so that's cool. And plus, we've
They
already
said
seen
every
them.
turret will be a breach point.
Yeah, you could blow a turret up on top, but we've already seen that because remember the video with the whole sea where they were actually breaching it from a doorway to doorway, and they were stacking the hallway like all Star Wars style, and all that. They were like in there, and I can't remember. It was one of the ATVs, and they were showing the breach thing, and you saw the laser cut. I bet that was a paw tool they were doing right there.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, I was because especially after seeing this, it looked very similar in the way it like glowed and cut and all that stuff. So
I want
Yeah.
a paw tool. You know,
Yeah.
they should start if they
Crazy
do-
question for you.
But
Do you think on most armors and suits that you will see the paw tool as a utility slot or as a sidearm slot?
utility.
utility.
You think so?
No, maybe a sidearm.
Maybe take
Yeah,
up that space on your hip.
I'm thinking it would take up a sidearm slot. So
I think it would
Okay.
take
if
it
you
up.
want
but
to
it'd
be a
weird,
repair
yeah.
guy, you're gonna have to say, I got a rifle
that,
and I got my
yeah.
paw tool. Right.
Oh yeah, because you wouldn't
Yeah.
want to exchange your medical pen for the paw, but you could exchange.
But
for
if you look
sidearm.
at all the stuff that's in utility, everything is kind of it's the utility stuff is stuff that you can clip
Yeah.
onto your vest. It's
Yeah,
so
Yeah.
exactly.
all the utility stuff is all clip-ons,
yeah,
not guns, right? So I think the paw tool.
I don't
really-
see anybody using pistols. To be fair, anyway, if you're actually military, you probably want a paw tool anyway, because most of us can't hot swap to a pistol. It's too
So
slow.
here's the thing: everywhere he uses the paw tool, there is these little what the yellow markers or whatever,
Oh, where
Did he
highlights?
cuts, you mean?
where he cuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you look at the
Yeah.
place where he replaced they had those yellow markers there. So I wonder
Yeah.
if that's going to be how you.
It's
see
probably this. Yeah, your visual cue that hey, you can cut through this.
it. I was kind of disappointed about the whole place of this grate.
Yeah, I was like, so it's just got a canopy. Why couldn't I just walk over that wall that's sloped there?
Why can't instead of placing it? Why can't I have two row and
Yeah.
place? Right now,
Yeah.
if you want it to be quiet, I can see like if you have those two choices, one's going to be loud and one's
Yep.
going to be quiet, right? So that would also determine what happens next. So if you threw it aside, it'd go clang, clang. These guys goes, what was that? Right? So it
Cutting with the
complete-
little laser torch isn't going to be quiet either.
Not
Well-
really. I mean, it depends on what you're cutting.
It
and
depends.
yeah.
Well, it also depends on the atmosphere, the wind, what is the external noise around you at
Yeah.
the time.
Maybe you
So
suck.
the cutting might be less than, but the clang of metal on metal, because the metal's all over the ground. If you toss that thing, it'd be like clink, clang, clang. So, yeah, I didn't like the that one. I suppose.
The animation was buggy, but that one was okay for sneaking. I don't think it was too bad. It's but I would have liked to see I'd like to feel like the guy might turn around. You know, like how sentries in a lot of games sit there and sway, kind of look around a little bit, and you're like, oh shit, he might see me. That I'd feel a little bit better about that on that one. But the next guy he stabbed, I was like, yeah, I don't think so. It's like with those really bad way far away. And this whole gunfight, I'm like, yeah, I mean. That's a little.
Yeah, the guy looked at it for 10 minutes. Didn't
Well,
even
not only that. Here, hang on. Let me rewind this little part just a little bit. And here's the part that got me. I'll see if we can hear it. Okay, listen. He's shooting right now. The guy's trying to shoot him right now. So the AI knows he's there. And he's like, oh, I'll stand out here in the open and wait for you to come around.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to see them. So, but
Now, this
But
next guy he's on now, this makes sense. This is what I expect to see. He's ducking behind cover. It's a little
Right.
bit, you know what I mean? All the other guys
Yeah.
were just like standing there like, hey, you have a
The
gun
second
too.
guy he shot too the part just before this.
Yeah, it clipped down on
The
his
guy
gun.
was so close to the container.
He couldn't
You
use the
could
gun.
see when he died, his gun was pointed up.
Same thing that happens to us in Star Marine today. When you're on a corner too close, your gun's up and you can't shoot anybody. It's because they use the
hate
same
that.
physical.
That's like my biggest pet peeve.
The only
I hate the cover mechanic.
The only good
Ugh.
thing I can say about that is at least the AI is using the same bullshit that we have to. So
Yeah, true.
so it's not like you're not going to get like in some games where you're prohibited by your cover system, but the AI is like, I'll shoot through the wall and kill you anyway, you know. So it's not going that route, but yeah, there's some problems there. And I like that because see the guy flanked him.
Yeah. Did you see? Okay, so the weapon that he's using, that's the P8, right?
I believe it's the P8 modified though, because it's got a different. It looks longer, and it's got a sight on top. Or no, it's got a tree sight up, right? It's got.
Aren't there 3 attachment points?
There
to the
are.
P8?
Yeah.
So there's a barrel attachment, which I'm assuming is going to be like for a light, right, or a laser.
Yeah.
There is the sight.
I don't think it's a P8 because a P8 I thought had a 45 round mag. It's a P8 rifle variant? Okay. Because I didn't think it was the P8 that we used. Because didn't it have a 45 round mag or something on the P8? So we can check and correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't know.
The frame looks similar, but the stock and the top look different.
But I hope that the action. Okay, so this is my hope is that the action that I see here comes into the game because the P8 we have is it an SMG?
The P8 is an SMG, correct. The P4 is the rifle.
Right. And the P8 is a
SMG. If I'm not mistaken, I thought it had a 45 round mag, and it's a lot higher fire rate, but it's got a lot more spread. This one seems a lot different than that to me.
Yeah, I like this one a lot.
Yeah.
This is like
this might be the military version of the P8. I could accept that because there are military variants of that. It is a bearing.
Is it a SMG or a rifle?
This looks like a rifle to me.
It has a 30 round mag.
Not with the way it's shooting.
It's very stable, and there's no lift.
Oh, I thought the P4 is a rifle, isn't it, or is it an SMG as well?
No. The P4 is a rifle.
Well, this didn't show any different than what the P4 does.
No. But I like the. Have you guys tried out the Custodian?
I have not tried it out yet. I've seen a lot of people flying when we have.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it's a nice little gun.
That was a pretty cool animation there. It only shows it for a second. He shot the guy in the throat, and the guy grabbed his throat. That was pretty cool. So it has its moments.
This part bothered me too. Like you can look up through. They're like, "Where is he? We can't find him."
Yeah, and you're like clunk, 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 clunk through the like right beside him.
Well, no, this is they're like going, "Where is he? We can't find him. I can't see where he's gone. We gotta find him. Come on, look, there's a dude right there. You can see him. If you can see him, he can see you. You know, I mean, if he's looking. But the fact,
Systems Side Lurch says looks like an AR. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Definitely looked like an AR. Yeah, this here too. I'm kind of like, yeah, I guess. Now this is the knife kill that I think drove me a little crazy. Yeah.
Right, because he has to go through a door.
Yeah, he opened the door right behind this guy, and the guy isn't here.
Right, that's just ridiculous.
And he put it, and the AI has his gun away. He had his gun out. He put his gun away and all stuff for this. It seems like it was very set up. Like he was all on sentry, and he's like, "No, I'm good." It's not like some guy with a knife's gonna sneak up behind me right now.
He's got a knife.
Yeah. We're giving Jay Lee crap about this one.
But
because she's all prisoner, but
I was wondering when you decided.
Jay Lee made that suit.
Yep.
What do you say about getting me out of these things?
don't cut her arms off. I like he's looking down at her face when he's trying to cut up on the. It's like, oops, sorry. Game over. Replay. You fried her brain.
Well, this is the other thing too. He cuts the handcuffs off, and they just fall right off her wrist. He cuts the metal bar between.
Well,
the-
it's a Polaris reverse gravmeg cuff, and the power source is in the middle. So that's why if you break the power source in the middle, they all fall off. It's widely known throughout everybody who closely follows the lore.
I know what they do with my stuff.
Sounded good, didn't it?
It's keyed in the code in
Now
front
found
of me.
Trejo
No.
on the move.
Nico, no spoilers.
Agent Trejo, Lieutenant Commander Colden
I'm
said.
not leaving till this is done.
Like, how does she know the code to get into this?
Oh, she
locker?
says it actually. They covered that because she said those guys were idiots. They like basically typed in the code right in front of me while I'm hanging there. So they did cover that in the dialogue.
Okay.
So I was gonna call them on too, and I was like, oh yeah, she covered that. She's like, yeah, they just typed the code right in there in front of me like a bunch of morons.
Base.
It's like okay,
I love this look on her face. Like, so you get what's his name? Old man Colton's talking about her being disobedient, and she's
I wonder what she's doing with her tongue the whole time.
yeah, she's like, whatever.
She's all like,
Now, remember that this is still very work in progress, and we have a lot of things to
So-
fine-tune, but hopefully it gives you an
Yeah.
idea of how fluid this.
And she might be on drugs, but administered, like sodium pentothal or something like.
morphine.
well, he just gave her meds right there.
That's
It's like gave her meds right in
Morphine.
front of you because she's had the crap beat out of her. I mean, so she's probably a little bit like, oh yeah, that feels better. I can't feel my teeth. So she keeps moving her tongue around her mouth and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I thought it was kind of interesting, but it was
the animation of the faces, the fact that they look at you, right?
yeah.
The eyes, if you noticed on her, one of her eyes was bloody. The whites of her eyes was bloody.
Yep.
Just one of them, though, right?
Yeah, on the side of the face, she had a lot of bruises.
Yeah, she looked like she had taken quite a beating. And
Yeah.
but all of the AI in the game, the ones that you interact with, the friendlies, so good, so good. Oh my god.
Yep.
And I'm so looking forward to them being able to roll this type of subsumption, AI out to the verse where you walk past somebody and they're like, if you bump into them, like right now you bump into them, they don't say anything, they bump into you, there's no active avoidance. But eventually I'd like to be like, hey man, watch where you're going. Jeez, what's your,
Yeah.
Get real smarty with you. Or if you come up to somebody and you look at them, for them to say something like, hey, take a picture, it'll last longer.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I want the AI to react to you. Like right now, the AI does react to you. So I went there and I stood right in front, like beside an AI. And that AI turned and looked at me. And he just looked at me and then he went back to what he was doing. But the AI did acknowledge me. So I was standing right there and the AI looked at me like that and then just went back to his, whatever he was doing.
Well, I think it's somebody asked me earlier, and I wanted to talk about it again real quick with her about how it was weird camera angles and they kept focusing on her head. I think they had some sort of like head track on because even Jay Lee was saying earlier that they were really trying to show her face, like the detail on her face for like her getting beat up and all that stuff. So that's why you get these weird like top down camera angles and stuff like that, and all the weird mouth movement and stuff like that. Because I think it's just not a natural like look on the camera and stuff the way it is. I think that's what it was.
Who do you think was the best facial animation so far that we've seen in the playable one?
Playable?
Well, what we saw, not in the PTU.
I just
but
don't
in
get
this.
the tongue thing though.
Oh, that first Marine, the detail on that one was unbelievable.
Yeah,
it
that
looked
was
like a
good.
real person.
I'd say the big bad guy was pretty badass
Yes, that's the one I think
because
was
he has
the
that
best
whole
out of
eyeball and
everybody.
just like the face like looked well and all stuff. But yeah, Liam Cunningham. Yeah, I'd say it was
Liam Cunningham was good,
He was
but
really good.
the big brute pirate.
Yeah.
I think he was the best. I think if you look at if you go back and watch that animation of the pirate brute,
Mm-hmm.
and you just see the little inflections, definitely he was the best. It's not as long as, for example, Liam Cunningham's part was, or this girl's part, but definitely was good. And I felt that I agree with you. That was the best. Is the subtleties that they got in his? They didn't. It was like she seems a little too emotive, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I mean, she's
inappropriate emotes. You know,
the whole thing. I think she was trained by Sandy, though, and I'll tell you why. It's a secret reveal because if you watch the tongue, like, what is that about? Like with the tongue stuff. But I think she was trained by Sandy, because I think if you look at it close,
what are you talking about?
Sandy training.
No clue.
Oh, jeez.
I think that was probably where it came from. It was right there. Yep. It was a little Sandy training.
For God's sake.
Went it a little too close there, and I think that's what it was. That's where I see it at and all that stuff. But yeah.
All right.
So crazy sauce.
Too soon.
Too soon. All right, let's go on and talk a little bit about some of the ships for a second, and then we're going to get into questions here. And wait a minute.
We're not going to talk about Tonks.
We'll get
They
to
keep
Tonks.
talking about how big the Idris is, but everything is jammed together. That's what they keep saying.
Well, they had
Yeah.
to because.
And I get that. I just don't think it's going to be as big as you guys think it's going to be.
They also said it takes 5 minutes to go from one thing to another thing.
Those guys must be freaking...
Well, I will say this about that, because it takes 5 minutes to go to another thing, but also think about the Starfare. The Starfare, they wrapped all the hallways everywhere, and it takes forever to get from one station to another when you have other stations you need to go to than the bridge. But it's really across the whole beam of it is not that big. It's just the fact you have to run up the stairs, go up the hallway, all that. So this is going to be very similar. It's going to take you a while to get somewhere, but it's going to be very convoluted to get there because of the way you have to wrap through everything. So, yeah. It's definitely not bigger than the Javelin. We're not saying that. It's just, it is a big ship. You have to consider all inside this area right here in the blue, this is all the bridge. All that bridge that you walk around and you see the stations, it is a large ship.
Right. The bridge has 11 stations.
11 stations in this, and this looks like a detachable ship. I wanted there to be a secret like saucer separation, like in Star Trek. It's like this is the escape pod. You can separate the bridge, and it's like a bird of prey from the top. Look, because it's got the two guns. It's like it separates, and you save the rest of the ship the other way. But
you know we're gonna have to try blowing up those hallways that connect it.
I want to see if I want to see if it's destructible. If that part falls off in the bridge, because you imagine salvaging it. It'd be so cool to like EVA into the bridge, area, and it's a separate piece of the wreck. But
can you imagine being on the bridge when it gets separated?
Can you
from the
imagine
rest
how
of the
much
ship?
firepower it's going to take to blow it up first? So I mean, that might not even ever happen.
A lot.
So.
Yeah.
They have
Polaris can handle it.
I believe the Polaris can handle it.
I'll bring a Javelin to that fight.
I need more Polarises.
Yes,
I don't know. The Idris seems like it's a pretty tough ship, and I think that the Idris's shields, will be far stronger than the Polaris' shields.
Yeah,
and I think if the Idris can get a railgun shot at you, you're toast.
that's why you never come up on the front side of an Idris.
Well, that's the thing. Is that what if in the end game comes out live? What is a fully functional Idris? You might not be able to sneak up on. Polaris is maybe good for a big battle where there's so much going on.
Oh yeah,
that you can sneak in and you can come in for a shot. But you're still it's not sneaking. You're just in amongst all the other ships, right?
Yeah.
But if it's if you're coming into an area where there's an Idris on patrol and it's fully staffed, you ain't sneaking up on Polaris. You won't get
No.
close enough before they go, "Oh, we spotted you." Oh, well, now we're firing stuff at you. Because I think I saw, don't they? I know they have the rail gun, and I thought I saw like missile launchers on the top.
For the Idris?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they
They
saw
have, this is like a rack of
missiles.
missiles. You can see it here. This is the old model now. This is
That's
not the
the
new
old
one.
model,
Yeah,
yeah.
but they still have this rack. The rack just looks tiny by comparison because they've buffed it out.
Right.
They'll
Right. So
show the
they've
before
got
and after.
Yeah.
these missile launchers. They've got 3 fighters that will
Well-
easily evade any torpedo. The fighters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they did say they also have countermeasures, right? So
Oh, yeah,
they're
definitely.
bringing countermeasures into the game as well.
Absolutely. And showers. They have a lot of showers.
Shower.
Yep.
And
I don't know
books.
why they just didn't
There's
put-
books.
Like they have in all the chips, the little shower shave modules. You know, with the toilet seat, the sink, and the shower.
I mean,
all
okay,
in
let's
one.
freeze it right there for a second. Holy crap, look at the cross. This shows exactly what you're both talking about. Look at the amount of stuff in there. Look how compact together it is. It is shoved. There is no voids. This is, to me, if people call the Retaliator a submarine, this is really like a nuclear super sub. Like not a square
Yep.
inch is wasted in this ship. If you
guys
have a
ever
hull
been-
breach, somebody's dying because there's going to be a
Have
dude
you guys
there.
ever been
Yeah.
on a U.S. Have you ever been on a U.S. Navy ship?
I've
Yes.
retired ones only, like on museum floating ones. I can't remember.
Right, but
Yeah.
so like when you did a tour, then
Mhm.
did you just all the compartments and
Oh my
all
God.
that, like
yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
bulkhead
this-
seal, bulkhead seal, bulkhead seal. You just like squeezing
That's
through
right.
all that. Yeah,
and I
yeah.
love their attention to detail at filling every internal spot because they do. Remember what they said, that every section is going to be able to be sealed off
Yep.
and, atmospherically separated from the next section. Each of these large sections are going to have their own power, not their own shields, but their own power, their own life support, their own coolers, and then there's going to be relays everywhere, right? So what they talked about, Chris talked about it, said he keeps calling them fuses. I don't know if they're going to be fuses. Maybe they still will call them fuses, but I know they'll be like power relays. So
Yeah.
throughout the ship, the engineer will say, forward section 1-6 red section, there are 2 power relays out. You guys got to go switch them. So that's going to be one of the things that you're going to be doing in these ships, and they've packed all that stuff within the walls of the hallways and the rooms and all that
Yep.
stuff. So that's kind of what they were talking about, that when they made Item System 2.0 and all the modular system that it is with the the life support, avionics, all these different computers, all these different modules,
Yeah.
that then there's had to be a place to put them, right? And then, of course, for the RP, for the sandboxers, for the people who want to really get in there and play, then there's the places like the bathrooms and the cafeterias and all of that stuff. And I think that the cafeterias and the bathrooms are really more there for the NPCs, if for anything else,
Yeah.
because a lot of players may not ever use them, but the NPCs will always use them,
Yeah.
right? So, and that's they did say that that's part of keeping your NPCs happy and satisfied, is making sure that they have these facilities, they have good food.
Yeah, they played with the idea back and forth of having players have to shower once in a while, so that way it's like you'd have social things. But
They said certain
Yeah.
NPCs will refuse to talk to you if you haven't showered. So if you're dealing with pirates all the time, they'll probably always talk to you, right?
Yep, it's live tomorrow. Warped. That's right. For everybody interested, we changed the title of 3.0 live tomorrow on the front of the stream, so that way people.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So I was like,
Nice.
just putting the word out for everybody.
But
Yeah.
yeah, and I like that idea. I don't want it to be like all the time, but if you're gonna go meet somebody in a 600i,
If it's
and there's some rich dignitary,
Yeah.
and your character, you as a player, has never showered,
yeah.
I think that should play a part.
I mean,
And
if
I
it's
also like-
regular maintenance, I'm okay with it. It doesn't take that much time. It's like, as long as I don't have to like hand emote me showering, it's a big process. If it's like,
Here's what
take
I would
shower
like
and
to
do
see.
it, good.
Here's what I would like to see, and I think I've said stream before, and I want to run this past you guys.
Mhm.
I would like to see there be AFK animations, because we're going to be playing in this game for 6-7 hours at a time, but I would like during that 6-7 hour stretch.
Only on school nights. I mean, otherwise I'm just staying here.
Yeah, we'll be going to the restroom. We'll be going to make food. We'll be doing a lot of stuff. And then when you go AFK, I'd like to be like AFK, action, shower. And if you have a shower on your ship, your AFK, your character, you go and shower while you're going to make food. Right?
That'd be
I would like
funny.
there to be AFK animations.
I guarantee the first time they put that animation in, we'd go across one of the hallways. We'd see drones taking a shower in the hallway. He'd go through the shower animation. We sit there like, put some pants on, man, and just be all like
No.
what are you doing? He's like, it's like I'm showering.
I don't want to.
So that's the way it goes.
But I want to see, and if you see at like Grimhacks or all these places, you see how all of the NPCs are leaning against the railings, leaning against walls, just sitting there, and just their hands are on their doing this. And I want to see that if you go and type AFK, your character randomly does that kind of.
Yeah, he just picks an
standing next
emote. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like the NPCs. So if you go AFK, all you have to do, and even like, I don't know, would you want it to happen like automatically if there's no action from the keyboard? Or
I would like to see an idle animation. Maybe you could pre-select what that animation looks like, fit your personality, and then if you're idle for so long because like my kids are screaming because they're murdering each other in the other room, I get up, then my guy goes to idle, so he's not just like robot there. He's at least doing an idle of something.
Yeah.
I think
I want to see that.
Yeah, that would definitely be cool. I would be totally down with that. And you get different animations you can do and all that stuff. And again, along with cosmetic stuff, I would be willing to buy new animations if they keep making them through there. You know what I mean? Like, why not? $5-10 is like you get your own unique little personality animation.
Okay,
I'm cool with that.
When we go to bed in our beds, right? You're either on your back, on your side, right?
Yep.
I would like it if you could buy an animation where you squish the pillow up and you lie on your stomach. Maybe read.
Oh, for shit's sake! Cuddle with your favorite blankie.
Yep.
And I want it to have a star kitten buffalo next.
I would like to have a sleeping idle animation that I have night terrors. So I'd just be laying there, and then every once in a while I go, go back to sleep. That would be great.
How about like the sleeping dog where you're running in?
Yeah, you're running. It's like you come through the SpaceBro ship and you'd be like, "What the fuck is going on in here, man?"
But I want I want there to be idle anime. Like for example, I think that if you're standing next to a rail in wherever at, that if you are idle, that it should if you just press AFK, there are certain actions that an NPC, when it gets to that rail, is going to do. They're going to lean on it with both hands. They're going to lean on it with their elbows. They're going to lean on it with one hand and put the other hand. So I've seen at least 4 or 5 animations that NPCs do at the rail, right? Yeah. Why don't our characters do? I mean, I think it would be easy enough for them to just say, hey, if you type AFK, your character will choose one of the animations that the NPC chooses, right?
That'd be cool.
And it would just be random.
Yep, I'd be okay with that.
They could get that in right away.
Yeah.
Because if it's just random, you don't have to, all you have to do is press AFK and it picks a random animation that an NPC would do at that location, right?
Yep. In that environment. If you're in the club, you could sit there and just lean on the bar. Maybe you kind of cut a rug a little bit, do a little something in the dance floor, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's do some idle stuff. Because one thing I hate in a lot of games is, and it's like older games like WoW and those things, is like where you go in an area, everybody's going AFK, and you just have like 100 people standing there. It would be nice to see the AFK, they mingle, you know what I mean? They're like, it shows some life and stuff instead of like, there's like 50 people here at Port Olisar just standing there like stone objects.
There's not a lot of interaction. See, that's another thing that I was kind of running through, is there's no interaction between the NPCs.
Yeah.
No, I like how animated the shop sellers are, right?
Yeah.
They're getting a little pushy. Oh, you'll like that. Oh, you'll like that. Oh, shut up, lady. It's just like I want to be able to have a Oh, I'd love to be able to have an inner thought to say, yeah, be rude or polite, right?
Yeah. I just want to see NPCs cascade, because like how you see in even like PUBG when we play it and stuff, you'll see an idle animation, and they were all in the old build. They'd all like mirror each other and sometimes synchronize, and it was really weird and awkward. I would like to see that bug happen in Star Citizen, where maybe they have finger guns, and like one NPC goes, hey, and then the next guy goes, hey, and then it just cascades through all the NPCs. So you have a bunch of NPCs just randomly, hey, giving some finger guns to each other. It'd be amazing. And then, we have Ben Lesnick come through. It'd be perfect. So
I want to see the NPC. I do want to see the NPCs talk to each other, have conversations, because that, even if they ignore you, it still would feel more immersive if they are talking to each other.
Yeah. Or they're talking to each other and you approach one to talk to them and they act irritated,
right,
because they're like, I'm in a conversation. I like those type of things because it just adds to the environment, and I don't feel as bad when I stab them in the back of the head then. So it'd be really good.
Have you guys seen the guns at Olisar shoot yet?
The guns
yes.
I did
I've
not.
been wrecked by them.
Today I experienced firsthand. I went on a mission at a comlink, and they added the turrets to the comlinks now. So the comlink was blasting the hell out of my Super Hornet while I was trying to kill this Gladius, because I finally killed the M50, which they supposedly took the M50s out of some of them, but no, it's back in. That was a big pain in the butt. And I was trying to kill this Gladius, but the Gladius was sitting there stuck against the station, and it was recharging faster than I could shoot it with a Super Hornet on the shields, which blew my mind.
Nice.
And all the 6 turrets were destroying my ship, so I was trying to hyper spin around and kill this Gladius, and I couldn't do it. I had to bail out. And I was like, it wasn't fighting back.
So the comm array was defending itself?
Yes.
So had it already been turned off? And
my mission was to turn it off.
Oh, okay. And the Gladius and the M50
were defending security as security assets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a 524 UEC mission, so I should expect it to be difficult, right? Because, in this one, it's like 75 is like normal payout. And I was like, 500 something, we'll do this. And I was like, no, you're not. So.
Yeah, so I'm now curious as to, because the payouts of these missions seems kind of low.
It is, but if you go refuel or repair, it's like 10 to repair it. I mean, all the prices are super cheap. You can I repaired, refueled, and reloaded my entire ship for like 45 UEC.
So they just basically switched over to Bitcoin.
Yes, they lowered everything down and switched to Bitcoin that way. So
right?
It's like, less Bitcoin. You don't have to carry as much in your pocket, huh? So that's just, it was crazy.
Yeah, well.
All right, so they're talking about, it's in final art for the Idris still.
Right.
And doing those type of junks. And we got to talk about, this is what I wanted to show through too. The Avenger expansion and stuff like that, because they are going to show here the cells and whatnot. And again, I'm not a huge Avenger fan, but I really like what they did with the interior on these. If you look at these, look at the space increase.
I like it.
Yeah,
it's not that much bigger than the old one.
Oh,
right.
I mean, it's only what, 5?
It's a lot bigger, I think.
It's probably double the size.
The doorway doesn't seem that much bigger going through there, but it's a lot bigger. Because, I mean, there when you literally had to crawl through like you did the 300 series.
Oh, I get you, but look at the side by side. It's bigger, but it's not stupid big.
Yeah, it's not stupid big. I would agree with that. I mean, it fits the scale of like the Hornets and the other airframes that they have out there for the fighter size stuff, because everything's a little bit larger. In the right there, I'll show you.
Yeah,
it's pretty substantial size.
That's like a double the size.
The old version would probably fit in ships like the Polaris, maybe even the Carrack.
Mm-hmm.
Not anymore.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just
go ahead.
I just want to be able to buy the old skin I want the penguin skin. I'm just saying.
I don't know. That advocacy skin's amazing to me.
Yeah, I like that.
That thing's badass.
Yeah, I'm a fan
But
of the penguin.
I would still think this might still fit in a Polaris wear because they said the biggest ship that can fit in a Polaris bay was a Saber with the wings collapsed. And I'd be interested to see, you know what I mean? Because it's got a tight body frame. It doesn't have the large, expansive wings. It
So
might
do you guys
fit in there still.
do you think that the cargo capacity that they have listed of do you think that's correct with the new size?
I don't know. I mean, did they
I would
ever
say
correct
that-
it to begin with? I don't know what the cargo capacity was on the old one, to be fair.
Yeah, I think
They haven't updated yet. I don't think it's.
it says 8
anything's
in
right.
there right now, but
8 SCU?
yeah.
That
That's
might,
what it says.
That might
That's
be
what it
right.
says
SCU's
on the
big,
Matrix.
right? That's the full crate, isn't it?
Well, okay, so the Cutlass Red, which we know is not a cargo variant, has 16 SCU, right?
Okay.
So let's see here. What's another ship of? Okay, well, like the F7C can carry 2 SCU, and that's just
Yeah, the cargo always confuses me. I'll be honest. It really does because it's like they've changed it so much. I'm still settling into what it is now. I know they have it. But
well. I'm starting to pace stuff out and look at the cargo in my hold.
Mhm.
The one thing that bothers me is the way that they load the cargo into the interior airlock in the Freelancer. Because some of those boxes, there's no entrance that those boxes can fit through. So that bugs me.
where it just matriculates in there somehow magically.
Well, right now they do have the holding, like what they've said is the placeholder for cargo, and it just appears and disappears. But
Yeah.
right now, what's the point? That's there's no point to cargo. But in terms of the size, I think it should get.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, it seems like that the Avenger. I mean, if you look at that cargo space in the back of it, it's pretty big. Definitely is more than the. I mean, the Reliant only has.
Do you think it's going to hold more or less than the Cutlass?
Oh, less for sure.
Even on the new model?
Yeah.
Okay.
The new model will hold. I don't see. I look at the. I'd say I would believe it if they had 10, 12. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would say 12. Yeah, it seems legit, right? It's not like the. So the Reliant only has 4, but when you walk into the Reliant, you could see how tiny that.
Yeah. Well, it's got the single box basically. It looked like would hold back there. The larger box, the single larger cube, looked like it would fit in there, and that's about it in the Reliant. Yeah. But yeah, it's scaled up quite a bit. I mean, they keep showing the comparison with the penguin skin, is what Drones puts it. It looks scaled up quite a bit, like double at least in size. Because the cells in it right now, if you go over to the Stalker or whatever right now, they look like closets. Like they're very tight knit.
Oh yeah.
Right. These ones are full. These look like they're made to actually hold people in the spacesuits.
Right. Yes,
the ones before, I would question if you could hold an actual, as Sean Tracy would put it, naked male model in any of the ones of the old Avenger at all. I don't think so, especially one that's fully clothed.
What's his obsession with naked men?
I don't know. He said it in that episode 24 times or something, though, so we were kind of stuck on it for a while. Oh, it's talk. Because,
Fuck.
I just want to point out, now, again, this is a concept drawing. right? And people have questioned how big it is, and we got the stats up on how big this is. But I want to point out in this, you see that Cyclone back there on the left?
Yeah.
That Cyclone won't fit in the back of a Cutlass still. It's too wide a frame and all that stuff. And this dude, it would hold two of these dudes, like these two dudes standing right here in the Cyclone. This thing is massive. You can stand up
and the
fully.
tank holds 3 people with space. So
because you could stand
that's
up
a big
in this.
fucking tank. When I originally saw the picture, I tried to tell everybody not to go on scale based on the it was like a Javelin engine cowling. I was like, concept artists don't get scale. We saw that with the Banu picture, and apparently they might have had it right. They might have had it right.
Well, and I almost think it needs a bigger gun on it. They say it's a size 4 gun.
Well, everything needs a bigger gun.
I know. I was like, but if you're gonna be the tip of the spear
too, right?
Yeah, if you're gonna be tip of the spear, and you're gonna punch above your weight class, I mean what weight class is above that? Are you knocking Connies out of the air?
Wow.
They said that you wouldn't be shooting ships with this thing.
But they said you could.
Well, yeah. They
Listen,
also said that
don't tell me what to do with my tonk.
And my tonk in Battlefield 1 could knock Apaches out of the air like crazy, or helicopters and airplanes. I can shoot those things.
The tonk has anti-aircraft missiles. They even explained it.
Yep.
So they have anti-aircraft missiles, and did you hear what he said?
Anti-personnel gunnery.
Modular.
Anti-missile missiles.
Anti-missile missiles. So I can out-missile your missile. It's the unequivocal. If you go in here, I mean, the accuracy. This one's not the scale either. I love this with the figurines and the laser guns out of it. It's great. Look at this. Look at this cross section.
Yeah, that thing's freaking huge.
It's not gonna look like that.
It better look like that.
No, because it's like the freaking Ursa Rova. When we first saw pictures of the Ursa Rova, you're like, that thing looks huge. And when you get in it now, you're like, all claustrophobic.
It's pretty big still, the Ursa.
I just want to know, is there going to be a parachute module?
Oh, yeah.
See the missile rack there?
There needs to
looks
be.
like they carry.
They got countermeasures on it, too.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Well,
10,
and you
11.
can see inside where they're planning to have actual components you have to replace, like a ship.
So
Like
it looks like there are 24, because they said that this missile rack on the back, this is the anti-missile missiles. So there are 24 anti-missile missiles. Or basically, if a missile's coming at you, you target it. The gunner can target, and you'll have your screen. You just click on it and then fire an anti-missile at it. We have those right now. They're called Patriot missiles,
There
right?
you go. This is interesting. Dual
it
operator
totally-
seats that are developed to have full seat control from either position.
That is awesome. Now, they did also say that nobody is in the turret. Everybody is in the body of
because the turret gunner is
the
this guy down here. This is all here. Because they're making it modular, you should be able to not change the main gun, but all the other systems. And they're all doing it here. They didn't want to do the typical turret systems that we've seen in the past.
Right.
But look at these little dudes standing next to their tanks. It's so cool. Have a little campfire outside. Because it's so big and nice inside. Why,
Why not?
why not?
But maybe they're watching an amazing sunset or something.
This is true.
You don't know. Don't judge them. This is 2017, man. It's almost 20.
Why don't they have a blue and white camo on that moon? Jeez.
This looks
You know
amazing.
what bothers
man.
me though is you don't get that snow camo unless you buy their stupid big pack. You don't get it with the individual.
I ain't getting no snow camo. I don't care. Oh wait,
No.
they'll sell it by itself later. It'll be not exclusive.
Yeah, I bought the big pack. That was I bought
Of course
the
you
first
did.
day.
I
bought.
already plan on rebuying back the other vehicle pack. I just didn't. I didn't want to pay for all that with the skins. I just didn't because I already have the full pack for all the Cyclones.
Right.
And the X1
Well, I bought-
didn't
That's
really
what I need
do
to
it
go
for
back
me.
and do.
I bought
I need
the
to go back and look if I sell all my old Cyclones, all my old whatever Noxes and everything else. is it going to be cheaper to just buy this pack or not?
5 meters tall.
I think the thing that bothered me about the big pack,
Mm-hmm.
and I bought it, but I looked through it and I was like, yeah, that just doesn't seem right. You know what I'm saying?
I don't like the big pack because it has the X1s, which I don't care for personally. I'm not a big...
No, I don't care about that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
What I do care about is they're selling the yellow jacket and the Q.
That bothers me, though. Because
And I don't like that they're... I don't like that they're... That bothers me, too.
Yeah.
No, the X1, I think, is appropriate to put in there.
Sure.
But it's with the X1 with the scarlet skin... No,
Yeah, no.
That was supposed to be to people.
And
who
the yellow
bought
jacket was supposed to be.
Yellow
This
jacket?
is technically. I'll point out the third or fourth time they've sold the yellow jacket again. There's one
Really?
time,
When
yes,
was
because they sold it originally.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
sold it whenever they sold the Caterpillar bundle because I melted mine and I bought it in the Caterpillar bundle. And
Yeah, but
it's
that
the
was in
yellow
the same.
jacket.
That wasn't that in the same kind of the Dragonfly. The Caterpillar was sold in the same week. I know that because I bought the Caterpillar with those.
It was.
I did buy that pack.
Yeah, I melted the others and I got the Caterpillar pack is what I ended up getting. Then
But
they reissued it one more time. I can't remember when it was now because
I don't think they've ever reissued. This is the if you count the with the Caterpillar, that would be the second time. This would have been this right
third.
now is the third time.
And they're also the other
Caterpillar
thing.
one-
They're reselling the Dust Devil skin for the Cyclone again,
Yeah. So
which was
all
a
of that
pre-release
stuff,
limited edition skin.
yeah. So all of that stuff, I think no, that's wrong. Even though, and did I get I got the Dust Devil skin,
Yep.
I got the Nox Q, and I got the yellow jacket Dragonfly, and I think that shouldn't be available to anybody right now, even for
Well, I
buying
agree.
the big pack.
And
that's ridiculous.
the reason, and a lot of people said, well, Mitauchi, you had to spend $300 to get that, so that's okay. The problem I have with that, though, is they sold it to us originally by saying this is going to be very rare, very limited and stuff. And when you sell something, now given this is the first time they're redoing the Scarlet skin and they're redoing the Dust Devil skin, but this is the third time at least that they've done the yellow jacket, it doesn't feel limited then. It doesn't feel that way. If you
No,
do it
not
3
at all.
times within 12 to 16 months, that's pretty frequent to me.
Yep. Yeah.
So I don't know. I have a problem with that. It's not because, hey, I'm the one who wants it and all this stuff. It's because if you say something, I'm going to drill back on this like earlier with a whole different subject. If you say something, I just want you to stick to what you say. That's it. I don't like it when they kind of shift off base and say, oh, if you give us more money, then you're going to get this. It's a bad standard to set because then you're going to have some really salty MFers in the group. So,
Yeah. I think one of the things that they were, like with LTI, that just got out of control.
Yeah.
That just got way out of control. And they honestly, they should. I want them to be able to make money, and I do not fault them for wanting to make money. And the idea of LTI for backers, I think that you should, if you want LTI, they should say yes, LTI is special. Instead of downplaying it like that's so weaselly, right? It's such a weasel move to then say, "Oh, LTI is not special." It's like, "Oh, really?"
They're
so
trying
all these people,
they're trying
all
to
these
appease
people
too many
who-
camps, is what.
yeah. So don't please the people who are whining about LTI. Please the people who backed you in 2012 and bought these ships with LTI. And if new people come in, like if I come in 2017 or 2018 and I buy ships and I'm like, I want it with LTI. Oh, well, here's a $25 LTI token that I can apply to any ship that I want. Now, would I want to apply a $25 LTI token to a $25 ship?
Some people
No.
would.
Well, some people would.
Yeah, they would.
But would I, most of the time, I would probably apply my $25 LTI token, and LTI is important.
And-
They should go back to that.
And to
LTI
be
is
fair,
important.
even like in the case of the yellow jacket, as far as LTI goes, I don't care if you apply LTI to any Dragonfly, any color they sell. I wouldn't really personally care. But I do like the idea as a collector, because I do plan in the game to collect all the ships in the game.
Yep.
I want there to be rare ships, and I want there to be rare ships that I didn't buy for cash. So maybe you have 5 of them, and later on in the game I make money. I want to buy those off of you because I want one of those rare ships, and I earned enough money, and maybe you sell it for like 5 million UEC because you have 1 of 10 available in the whole game. I want to see that.
They're not selling, and it's like, okay, you're selling the Dragonfly and the Nox and the Scarlet Edition X1. You're selling all those multiple times when you said you'd only sell them once. Jackwagons. Okay, now let's go over to the F7A skin that they sold. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Everybody was able to, and I missed out on that because I didn't realize what was going on, right?
Yeah.
Why don't they sell that again? That's not a collector's item. It's not a collector's edition. It's not like a rare yellow jacket or a Dragonfly or a rare Nox Q or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's what they should be doing, is selling like the F7A skin for your Super Hornet. I like that idea. It doesn't, you know, anyways, it's not a collector's edition. It's just the newer version of the Hornet.
Yeah.
Come on. Anyways, that kind of bothers me. That they will resell these things that they promised would be limited, but then they won't resell these things that there was never any promise of exclusivity or limits. You know, you could buy as many as you wanted. They only sold it one time though.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think they really don't know what they're doing when it comes to how to manage and market. Like, they are marketing, but it's because they're creating in a genre with developers that we all love and respect. So I think marketing is, I think.
Well, the challenge I think they have with marketing is always the new shit's better. And I'll illustrate this whenever, like, if you read a description like what they have right here, you know, to hype it up, because you know they'll have more vehicles later, but if you read even this part where it says multi-terrain application right in here, which it's a little bit too zoomed in, but
so
says
it's a submarine.
Yeah, exactly.
Goes
right?
underwater.
Hey, you never know, right? It says what at first glance may appear to be your average Taveran War era military crawler, the infamous Nova is anything but average. Beyond its legendary reputation, it has proven to be a surprisingly versatile beast, capable of high performance in a variety of desperate environs, situations, and applications. By complementing the original design stout all-weather / all-terrain focus with new systems, tech, and refinements, our engineers have created a Nova that is not only lives up to the original name, but pushes it to the next level. And given this is like a car brochure, right? So it's supposed to hype it up and do all that. But they do this all over the place. I love it because it's like Peacekeeper. Despite its size, the Nova is perfectly suited for urban tactical deployment and all manner of preventive applications. Precision controls allow it to navigate through tight quarters and maintain mobility with surprising grace. The Nova is also perfect for urban pacification operations with sight of its heavy battle tank, often acting as a preventive measure in and of itself.
Right. So in-game, in lore marketing, I don't have a problem with.
Yeah.
It's the external marketing that we were talking about earlier, where if you buy the Dragonfly, the yellow Dragonfly now, it's a limited edition. This is the only time they're going to sell it. They said that's the only time they're going to sell it. Within the same week, they included the Dragonfly with the Caterpillar. And I was fine with that because it was all within the same week. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. It's the yellow Dragonfly that came in the 2-pack with the black one and the yellow one.
Yeah.
That was still on sale when they were selling the Caterpillar and the Dragonfly, the 2 Dragonflies. So I kind of felt like, okay, to me, that's within the same sale week that the yellow Dragonfly was available. So it makes sense, right? They didn't, as far as I'm concerned, they didn't break their promise by doing that. But this is a year and a half later. No, sorry, that's just complete BS. Now that's the marketing stuff that I think is bad, right? Where they are, promising this stuff. Like it's the same kind of stuff where they promised that LTI for the early backers was something really special. Oh yeah, lifetime insurance. And then 2.5 years later, when all these, whiny new backers going, oh, we want LTI. It's like, oh, LTI is not that special. It's like,
To downplay
make up
it,
your
yeah. And here's another thing that I get concerned about. And we saw this with the Terrapin when you're selling these products. And given, I'll go ahead and, total discretion, I have one of the tanks. I just bought 6 more for giveaways on credit, and I'm melting them, and I'm going to keep giving away because I think they're awesome. But one of the things that was confusing about the Terrapin that we all called them out on was the Terrapin had a very, aggressive marketing campaign, but it was also vague, and they had to come back and say, okay, this is like this isn't like this, it won't hold a gun, and they weren't really clear on it. One of the questions on the Q&A for the tank was, can the Nova fire different ammo types like modern-day tanks? And the answer was, while the Nova tank has been configured for specific kind of ammunition, the gun's ammo box has been designed to accommodate different types of ammo if those are made available in future updates, right? So that makes it sound like, hey, we're not sure, right?
Yeah.
But we might change it. I'd want to point out immediately, you go into the brochure, first line up here says Slayer long-range ballistic cannon. The Nova's trademark instrument of destruction, its size 4 ballistic cannon, fires large caliber artillery rounds, available in both standard and explosive, with unmatched accuracy and velocity. I mean, they have discrepancies of what they say in the Q&A from their brochure. Right, I'm just saying, right off the bat, they're saying it's already available. You can get these different ammo types.
Yeah.
And the other one said we might do ammo types later. So it's just you have somebody hyping it up, making it sound awesome, and the other people trying to give you the design down dirt. And it's a small discrepancy, but it's one of those things that makes us, before we make a purchase of $100, you got to read into it. And then when they change it, you got to call them on it. So that way,
Absolutely.
It's like if I bought an item on Amazon that cost me $100 and it doesn't do what they say whenever I get it shipped to me, given it's only usually 2 days from them, I'm going to return it. You don't have that option here. So all I'm saying is, CIG, try to be as accurate as you can with, I get the hype thing, but we really need to proof this. And I found that in just like reading 2 different documents an hour ago. So I don't even know, you dive down in here, how much more you're going to see with these different types of descriptions and stuff. So I just want to make sure, what's going on and all that. But yeah, I mean, it's really cool looking. It's got amazing different details and all this stuff. But I haven't gone through the stats type stuff. So I don't know. They say there's like different life support systems, all this stuff. Says max seats and positions is 3. They have pictures of 4 people hanging out on the tank. If you don't read the document, again, I guess these guys went out in the middle of nowhere to look at the sunset, and this one guy's assed out. They're going to leave him behind. 3 seats, bro. You're walking.
Well, see, now this makes me want to see damage states for our habitats that we could place down with the Pioneer.
Yep.
And destructible walls, stuff like that to put around your camps.
Yep. 100% agree. And I think, again, I'll advocate for it. If they could add the PUBG chain link fence around your bases so that way they're indestructible, so that way, it would be amazing. Toy almost quit playing PUBG the other night because he was shooting through a chain link fence and the bullets wouldn't go through it. He's got so mad.
Guy killed the whole team hiding behind a chain link fence. 4 of us against 1 guy.
Oh, collision. It's amazing.
That's funny.
It was funny. It was very entertaining. You sure heard him cussing on stream. But yeah, I mean, again, the tank's cool. And just, be buyer beware. Just make sure you're doing this stuff. Does come with a trailer hitch.
It's a tonk.
It's a tonk.
It's a tonk.
It's not a tank. It's tonk.
Specially branding. Tonk.
Yes.
Tonk. I want one really bad.
Tonk you very much.
Tonk you for coming. So
it's a Tonka toy.
Absolutely. Yeah, it has headlamps, but a lot of other ships do. We'll see if it actually means anything when you get in it and you shine them forward. Hopefully by the time they actually draw it out and white box it, yes, they'll have the light thing fixed. And maybe one of the things you could change out is a searchlight. That'd be cool. I'd like searchlights. Be nice.
What you need is like little drones that pop out off of it and like scan ahead of your tank.
That'd be badass.
And drop grenades.
How about they just they're mag drones and
mines.
I want the drones just to magnetize to other vessels and then explode.
Dude, so imagine this.
I'm good with that.
Pilot, you have the co-pilot. Co-pilot takes the drones out and scans for mines in the road.
Yeah.
Ahead of the tank.
That'd be cool.
That would be pretty cool.
It would be neat.
Hey, are we gonna get? Do you guys think we're gonna get our Castec Arms custodians that we bought during the Citizen Con? Are we going to get that in the live release of 3.0? I can already use a custodian.
Find out tomorrow.
Time.
No, we won't get it for 3.0.
No, it'll probably be a.
We didn't even get a holiday item this year, did we? Hangar decoration like we normally get?
Well, we don't know because the 3.0 is not live yet.
Well,
they'll probably give us.
They're probably sitting around going, "Well, goddamn, we gave them a tree, we gave them a wreath the other year. What are we going to give them now? We're out of stuff. What do we do? Quick, Jay Lee, draw something. Draw something, Jay Lee." Jay Lee's like, "Nah, I'm off." But all right, just to wrap up before we get to questions, guys. And again, if you want to ask questions about anything we talked about today or anything related to the game, ! questions in chat. You can get in there and pose your questions to the panel here, and we'll hang out and we'll talk with you for a little bit about it. A couple other quick notes. Even though, again, as Uber pointed out earlier, we have not seen the production schedule for Squadron 42 as promised by Aaron Roberts. We're waiting to see that, Aaron. You said so. Tell us what's up with that. We also want to announce that the jump point is out for those of you who have access, and it does have some cool stuff because it shows your mall map of how to get around your Idris. I guess you're going to need one. I like it. I want the look. It's got even the here's turrets. Like you are here.
I do love the staircases on the side as well as the elevator. That's awesome.
Yep.
Love that.
And I like how the major pass through the corridors on the bottom level is the hangar. So you will go through to get from one side to the other side of the ship. They color coordinated it, right? Inside the thing, they're talking about that when they're describing the Idris. The guy said they have one way. That way you know where you are because he designed it and he gets lost in it. So, but I get lost in Starfare. So, I mean, that's, Did
you guys go over the concept work in progress art for the Hammerhead last week or the week before?
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit, but we didn't. We talked about the big hang up for most people in the community was the void, right? And in the middle of it, like how it's the style it's cut out. And I'm like, it looks cool. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit.
No, I was saying that if you look at the work in progress, the art, some of those look just like the Carillion Corvette,
Yep.
And it was like, that they were like, ooh, we want to do that, but can't because
copyright.
Disney will sue us.
Disney will sue the crap out of us over that one. Yeah.
Yeah, can't make it look like the Carillion Corvette.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Yeah, they did a great job. I mean, you can go through and there's some great images here. So really, if you have access to the jump point, guys. Another thing you get for all you guys that are like, God, I subscribe to get access to 3.0. Well, now you can check out the jump point too. So there's some other cool stuff you do get with that. And another bonus is, they're still doing ATV next week, and we have all those other things. So you're supporting content, and they're still delivering. There's no break in that.
The rec. Now I don't know if they're going to change this. I really hope they don't. But rented weapons can go on ships you own and then go into the verse. You can't take rented ships into the verse.
That's
but
true.
Weapons are a different story. Yeah. Now that was true in 2.6.3. Because there's no store to rent stuff from for the PTU, we won't know until tomorrow if it's still the case. If it is, I'll be testing that on stream. So
absolutely,
we'll see. But that's something that I'm excited about.
Mm-hmm. flight control, main hangar. Yeah, I love the way, because they're showing you the before and afters, and that's what's really interesting to me.
Yeah.
You're seeing, like they were talking about in the ATV, this was the old with the stairs that come down the middle. And then how they elevated it all and all that. I was like, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't get that either, but I'm sure it was a different time.
A different
Whoever
era.
thought putting stairs in the middle of the flight deck,
Yeah.
for fuck's sake.
Well, maybe they hadn't designed a flight deck before, obviously. Escape pods look badass. They're recessed in. They aren't kind of...
Did you guys get the reference to the Millennium Falcon?
For which...
So on here, I'll find it. It's darn it. Okay, go to the Idris corridors. If you find a good white-looking round corridor, not the square ones, but the round ones.
What, inside this right here? Right here, the engineering corridor?
Not the engineering one. That I don't think, because that's not white enough. Anyways, they looked like the corridors in the Millennium Falcon.
Okay.
Actually, I think it was from the video.
Oh, it was in the video.
I think it was in the video, but it was a like total like when I saw them walking through the rounded hallways, I'm like,
Yeah.
That's the freaking Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
That's the hallways in the Millennium Falcon right there. So,
Well, I still look at this right here, with the engine room. The original engine room, or this is the new engine room. That reminds me of Empire Strikes Back, right? Where they put Han Solo down, like the lighting, the whole thing, and how the pieces come together. It's like, oh yeah, I put them in carbonite, all that stuff like reminds me of those type of images.
Did you guys notice the shooting range?
Yeah.
Oh,
in
dude.
the video?
Yes, I noticed that right away.
It's right here.
That was so freaking cool. I was really excited to see. I was like, a shooting range. Now that we see it here in the jump point, there are 3 windows to shoot from.
Yep, and gun racks right there.
They need to have one of those in every single weapons shop. I don't understand why they don't put one in.
Well, like even at the ArcCorp 18, Area 18 on 2.63, there's a door to go to one that you can't go to, but it says shooting range in there, and it's that back room, but you can't get in it. It acts like they want to do it, but they don't have it in like the most of stations and stuff. But I noticed like this lunchroom that we've always looked at is actually a sim pod room. So you can get in where you could be jacking the Star Marine from the game.
Right.
Or whatever, or arena commander for training or all that stuff, because there's the sim pods like what we had in our hangar that you're supposed to get in to do all the battle arena stuff. So I wonder if you're going to be able to get into that from Squadron 42. You can just sit out and you do some more flight training, get inside the sim pod. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Get inside the sim pod, play real life.
Yep. Exactly. It's inverted.
When I saw the briefing room, I was thinking, oh yeah, and when you're not doing briefings, you can have movie night.
There you go.
Dude, when they can get that render detector stuff where you could stream in from like your what's that ship you got, Mitt? The little one with the camera on it.
Oh, the Mako news van?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
If you could stream from those into that briefing room, dude, because your scout with the camera right into the briefing room.
Yep. This is live images there. And I think it would look like oh god, what's like the cameras you see from Expanse and stuff where they're showing like the kind of the shaky cam footage, but it's like you're seeing the drone stuff flying. It's like it looked like that odd rendered and texture right there. That'd be badass.
Okay, well, if you think that's crazy, think about this, Lumberyard, Amazon Prime. Oh, we could have Amazon Prime movies.
Yep, in the sim pod. What are you doing? Dude. I'm sorry, I'm watching a movie.
You're just sitting there. You're sitting there with your buddies. And you're sitting there, and travel time. We know travel. They're not going to skimp on travel time. Stanton is one of the smaller, or if not one of the smallest systems in the entire systems. In the entirety of the systems, it's only 5 AU across. Mm-hmm. That's tiny. That's like the area that Mars and Earth are, like 5 AU. Like, how far is Jupiter? Here, I gotta go look now because I know. There we go.
Yeah.
And
Here's where they're talking about removing the
yeah,
struts
okay.
from
So
600i.
Jupiter is about 5.2 AU. Huh? Really?
This is going to be my new GIF. I'm just calling it right now.
Yeah, 5.2 AU from the sun.
I don't blame you.
So that's the entirety of the solar system, and Jupiter is actually pretty close. But if you look at, like Pluto's orbit is at like what, 52 AU. So I mean, Pluto is 10 times further from the sun than Jupiter.
Yeah, that's definitely my new GIF. The top hat monocle. Doing it.
Yeah.
All day, baby. Love it. It's perfect.
That is funny. That is funny.
For the big
So-
donors, they'll get the
But-
Disco Lando top hat monocle version.
It's a small, like Stanton is a pretty small system in terms of traveling across it. But if you're traveling, like if you're traveling along, it may take a couple hours to get from one point to another. So why not sit back and, if you're not getting encountering anything, every once in a while, maybe watch a show or something.
Yep. Absolutely.
Because and because Amazon Lumberyard, I think that they would probably be like, oh yeah, we could incorporate that into there, and as long as you have it on your Prime member, you can beam that into your ship.
That'd be really cool.
That
I'd
would
say
be
that.
awesome.
It would be cool. It's like,
We
what?
could have we could have SpaceBro movie night on
wow.
We can
On
watch
a javelin.
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs.
Yep. That'd be perfect.
What? We'll watch Spaceballs on Drone's Javelin.
There it is. Be perfect. All right, let's go over to some questions here real quick. Get that stuff right. Again, guys, if you want to add to the questions, make sure you get in there, !questions. It's plural. It'll take you over the form, and you can
Watch
Add
one
to
of
the
my
fray.
favorites.
Oh yeah. that
Oh,
is
I
my
love
favorite.
I love that one. Gary Oldman's in that.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Little known fact.
Yeah, I love the fifth. It's crazy. I don't know that they thought, like, in its box office release, it didn't really do that good. But it is amazing.
It's really good. It's one of the better sci-fi films that have been put out, in the last decade or so, I would say, because it had a whole different look and take and stuff,
It was put out 20.
Was it 20 years ago? Not
Yeah,
20 years
I think-
ago.
Yeah, I think it was 97.
Was it really? Holy shit.
1997. Yeah, let's.
God damn, it's
Do you
been
have the
I'm
release
getting
date
I'm
on
getting
that?
old. 20 years ago. 2 decades then.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a lot of good sci-fi films put out in the last two decades.
No.
Jesus Christ.
No, they're not.
And they certainly can't
Other than
claim
Battlefield
Star
Earth. Best one ever.
We said good ones, right?
I love that movie. I don't care what anybody
It
says.
was
I
good,
love
but
that
it wasn't Fifth Element good, man. It was like Fifth Element,
movie.
like
No.
I like a movie where it like really gives you a feel for the whole world and universe. And Battlefield Earth, the one thing they did wrong to me, there was a lot of things people criticized on, but I felt like they just transplanted some people and characters and aliens into like the Earth. And it didn't really feel like it. It felt like they were in Ohio or Washington State. They didn't feel like it was like in this whole other, the worst, the apocalypse or anything. And it's like, it didn't feel like that. All right, first question of the night, guys, is from Stuck Between a Rock and a Hard Place. Interesting name. Question is, keep my 5-year insured Mustang Beta or use that to CCU to an Avenger, Titan, or Stalker?
Keep.
5-year insured, so you got a 60-month one to tack it over. Is that your package? If that's your only package, I would think about it. Because then you got to remember that would make your Avenger, if you upgrade to that, your base starter ship.
They are changing the Mustangs. They are redoing them all. I would not get rid of it. I would not.
Wait until see what it is, because the Avenger's always available. Right? It's not a limited access ship, so it's not like you're pressed to make that decision right now. See what the rework of the Mustang is. Because if you already have the Mustang Beta 5-year insurance, there's no rush to upgrade it. See what there is. If you hate the rework, then go for it. If you don't like the rework, then, you know. Or, I mean, if you do like the rework, then keep the Mustang. So. Because you can always get an Avenger later.
Well, they said the Avengers were medium class ships now, too.
Yeah.
So
we don't know the fuel costs and all that stuff. I mean, it's going to be
Yeah.
it's going to be a different expenditure to run the Adventure than a Mustang, by far. But we don't know if it'd be severe or just be minor. Who knows? All right. Next question from Bob says, "Did it bother you much that much of the activity wasn't prompted? The player just knew where to go and what to do." You know, we talked a little bit about that. And it did to a certain degree, but we don't know the precursor. Maybe they kind of knew based on visual cues that we're not aware of because we don't know the preceding missions, you know? So I have to reserve that, because if they already identified that and you have those visual cues, like Uber said, I really hate it when they constantly give you tips through the whole thing. I want them to show me once, I get familiar in a mission or a tutorial, and then let me go.
But they told us they were going to walk us through a mission. So I
Yeah.
expected this. It wasn't.
I also think that it's going to have an openness to it where you're going to be able to go off and do stuff that is not necessarily part of your linear progression through. So they wanted to show us a linear progression through, even though that's not the overall goal.
Well, there was even an option at one point, right? To either go down to her or head back to the main base. So there was already those options there.
Yeah. There was an option to go back to the main base or Quantum to go start looking for this person even before they found her ship.
I am totally lost Uber again.
Oh, sorry.
I love it because Uber's the quiet mouse and Drones is like the beast of audio. It's like I feel like a DJ over here on my mixer because I'm going like this. I'm like, oh, Drones is talking, turn it way the fuck down. Oh, Uber's talking, crank that shit up. And I'm like,
man. So, I don't know what's wrong with my...
And then it totally goes out.
Yeah.
There it is. He's back.
You could just adjust me in Discord and be done with it.
I've tried this before. Then I reset you at some point every time.
Stop resetting me.
You're not that strong whenever we're not doing the show.
Because he never talks.
Oh, that's true. Maybe we
Shut
don't have
up.
proper audio cue.
There we go. That should be better.
All right.
Yeah. Sorry about that. It was always doing the every time that Discord does an update, it automatically rechecks the voice option if you go into voice and video to automatically determine the input sensitivity.
Yeah. All right. I think we got everybody level. Can I get an audio check from Drones?
No.
Liar.
Oh,
it's perfect. It's perfect.
I couldn't resist. I had to.
All right, you're good now.
All right.
I think we're good.
Now I see it.
Yay.
There we go.
Now
I lowered Drones to
loud.
35% Discord.
Okay.
And I'm not even peeking.
Yeah.
So what were we talking about again?
All right, we're talking about like whether it bothered us much that the activity of what he did in the scene wasn't prompted, like he just knew inherently where to go. Did that bug us?
I think about, so there are 28 missions in the first chapter of Squadron 42, right? And they kind of intimated that this was like a side mission. This wasn't even a primary mission, that this was a side mission, right? That was maybe 5 or 6 missions into the entirety of Squadron 42. So if you play Squadron 42, you could probably finish it with, full color guard, all the medals, and not even have done this mission You know what I'm saying? That's what I think this mission is. It's one of those side missions, right?
Okay. Yep.
I don't think it's one of the 28 missions. I think it's one of the alternative things that you can do. Is, hey, you know, we got some time here, but you know, while we're waiting for something to happen, do you want to go out and do this? Look for the Starfarer, right? So I think that there are going to be they did say that there are going to be these extra little missions that are not absolutely required to finish Squadron 42.
Yeah.
Not one of the primary 28. So I think this is one of those. And so a lot of people may not even do this mission.
Yeah.
But again, I think that they were kind of saying it was like 3 to 5 missions in already, so that, you know, notice how Old Man Colton was already familiar with you. He's like, hey, kid. He was like nice to you, right?
Yeah.
Whereas when you first meet him, it's like, who the hell are you? I don't want to know your name, right?
Yeah.
Now he's calling you kid. I can't imagine that's just mission number 2, right?
No, I wouldn't think so, but who?
Yeah, so that's where I kind of caught on. It was like, oh yeah, he's familiar with you. He treats you nicely. He talks to you in a more familial kind of caring way. So it's got to be at least 5 or 6 missions in, right?
You would hope so, but we'll see what it gets in there. All right,
Well, they already said you were proven in battle. So.
Yeah,
right.
So you've at least gone through a full battle scenario.
And the Marine was kind of saying, "Oh, I want to know about your last missions. I'm a Marine, but I've never been in combat."
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, a lot of the QA does it. You know who I'd be interested in, because Cyber was talking about on Twitter, the girl with the pink hair, talking about is it Macy or Marcy? I can't remember. I think it's Marcy from the QA team out there. Was testing some stuff, and she's played that mission a dozen times. I would be interested to hear from Tyler Witkin, because when he was in QA previously, he said he's played through the entire thing. How different, not specifics, but how different it is now from when he played it.
Right.
That would be an interesting thing, because he came on the show the one time he appeared on here, just randomly. He was talking about that. He said, yeah, I've played through the whole thing. And that's been a couple years ago now.
Right.
Spaceship Training Wheel says, do you think it's missed marketing opportunity that they didn't release a short, flashy promo trailer for the masses? And then second part of the question, does its absence surprise you? The fact it's not there surprise you guys?
You know, for as much shit as they give CIG for doing money grabs, they could promote this thing and do bigger money grabs.
They could publicly just show like amazing.
And they don't.
Yeah, they don't do that because they don't want to set themselves up.
Yeah.
But I kind of think, because they already had a combat trailer out there from either last year or midsummer or something. They released some sort of trailer where it showed flashes of like the ships taking off and doing some stuff. It's just a little ditty, like a 30, 45 second one. I could probably find it. I think the flash to them in their mind was this Mark Hamill. Look at Mark Hamill here. Number one movie is Star Wars, Last Jedi right now. Here's Mark Hamill in a different genre acting. Look how good he looks. Look at this stuff. And I think that was their plug. I'm not saying they won't pull out another something later, but I think that was their little teaser showstopper for you. They don't want to oversell it. And what's the best way not to oversell it, but still show the potential depth of like the characterization and stuff and graphics? Put Mark Hamill as, old man right up front. Boom, show this little 2-minute clip on IGN. The only part that I was disappointed with the marketing is obviously they had to push it. They made that call for whatever reason. It was I'm sure it was justified. But the fact that they had to push it 24 hours, I think, killed a lot of their marketing from the fact that they did all this little ditty on IGN, hype it up there, say, check it out tomorrow. And they're like, yeah, not today. I think it disappointed some people and stuff. But they still had over 22,000 people watching it live. So,
yeah.
What about you guys? You think they should have done something different or had an additional trailer or, you think it was good?
I was good with it.
I loved it.
I mean, how many highlight reels do you think we're going to make on Reddit and everywhere else off of this? You're going to see a million YouTubes. We have an hour and a half of video footage where people are going to splice some shit together.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. People do that in a 30-second commercial, and we splice like 5,000 videos come out of that same thing. Board Gamer just achieved like content for a year off this one thing because he can take 5 minutes and make it into a 2-hour episode on his show. So yeah, this is a lot of stuff. You'll see it.
He's got lots of clips that now he's just can put them all together and have hours and hours of clips.
Yeah, and I would say on top of that, they just dropped 3.0 live, so the amount of content people are going to run and check it out, see what happens, all that, it's going to be hot already. So I'm not concerned. I think the drop combined with the teaser with Mark Hamill was their gotcha they were hoping for. Like, oh, it's got Mark Hamill. Let's go see some of this. Oh shit, look at this. You know, I think that's what it's about.
Yep.
That's gonna, it's gonna spread the word. I mean, it seriously is unfortunate about the whole lawsuit thing, though, because that as much as people are looking at it and going, "Oh my god, that looks awesome," but at the back of their mind, they're gonna be like, "Yeah, but I don't really want to spend any money because I don't know if it's."
Cal says people are going to get tired of Mark Hamill eventually. He's old. He hasn't been in anything in a while, besides doing like the Joker and all that stuff, and then now Star Wars. Now that that's going to be wrapped up here for him shortly.
There's a lot of actors out there who are really old and have been like just awesome throughout their entirety. Like they, of course, all actors do dud movies or bad stuff, but
especially sci-fi ones.
Pretty good.
Sci-fi actors, especially, they'll have like a really good sci-fi movie, and then you'll see them in a bunch of crap for a while, and that's just how it goes with them because it's Ben
Affleck.
If you're a sci-fi fan, you recognize people like Mark Hamill right off the bat. I mean, there's
right,
it's like that. So,
hey, Keanu Reeves is old now.
Yeah, that is true.
Keanu Reeves is amazing though with guns. If you just give him some guns and few lines, not a lot of lines, few lines.
Slow camera
down, and you give him some weapons. Say shut up and shoot people. Boom! Right. Box office hit. That's what I'm talking about. All right, Notorious. He said, I might have asked this before. If so, sorry. What is the panel's opinion on larger ships having a higher top speed in afterburn than smaller ships, but smaller ships have higher acceleration rates than larger ships?
That I've said that since the beginning.
We've talked about this a lot. Go ahead, Uber.
That's my biggest beef. I want to see, a speed, like I kind of do it back to boats, right? Because we're in space, but I look at the, a Nimitz class aircraft carrier is going to go faster than a PT boat. It's going to go faster than most of the smaller boats. It just is, but it takes a long time to get to that. Also takes a long time to stop, so that if you do get up to speed, you better be thinking about, okay, I want to, you need to know how to drive. But yes, I agree. Big ships should be slow on the acceleration, but get to a much higher top speed than smaller ships. Small ships would be almost instantaneous acceleration to their top speed, so that they can. And I've talked about this. I love the idea of this dynamic that I also want to say that they should put into the game, and I hope that they do this, where you cannot just quantum from a dead stop in space. Sorry, you can't quantum drive. You need to get to a certain speed, and then you can go, okay, we put our target into the computer. Now we have to accelerate to that speed. Then we can quantum drive. Yeah. So there is this point from zero speed to that speed with which you can quantum at.
But that is a thing. That's intended. They've talked about ramp up.
They're going to, and we hope they stay that way.
Yeah, that's planned.
Right. So the thing is that I want to see that be slow. I want to see it be slower than because we do kind of have a ramp up right now, but it's like 2 seconds or 3 seconds,
Yeah,
it's really fast.
It needs to be the 88 mile an hour mechanic is what I call it.
Yeah. But I want to see the big, bulky ships take a long time to reach that 88 miles an hour. And in that time that it takes them to do it, then the gunners are in the turrets and they're fighting off these small ships that are trying to stop you from doing it, right?
Absolutely.
And if those small fighters manage to knock out one of your engines, maybe they can prevent you from reaching the speed you need to go to quantum, and you need to get in there and start repairing it before you can do that. So it's kind of like this back and forth that is all going to be skill based. Fighter pilots versus people running managing the shields versus the engineers inside the ship repairing the fuses, repairing the modules, versus the people in the turrets trying to fend off all that stuff.
And that's the way it's supposed to be, because that's why, going back to your naval reference, that's why an interceptor was made in a boat and a car formats and stuff like that. They're supposed to be, interceptors have faster accelerations to catch the bigger boats and stuff of that nature, but they burn out early. They don't have the same top end. They got to get there, suppress the target, intercept it, and then the larger ships would always be able to pull away or last longer than them if they could fend them off in time.
Right. So if you look at the idea of World War II bombers, so some of those bombers were able to go really high, and the smaller fighters, they were faster. Yeah, but they couldn't go as high as they couldn't go as high, and their fuel wouldn't last long. So they would only last for a certain amount of time. Then they had to turn back or they would crash, right? Yep. So there's all these kind of dynamics that you can put in a different aspect, different aspect, more of a spacey kind of aspect. Maybe you won't run out of fuel. Well, long quantum jumps are not possible for the small craft. They have to berth or something like that. But that's the kind of thing that I really want to see. I want to see that kind of the people in the cargo ship fighting off the pirates as they get up to speed, and then boom, they quantum, and the pirates are like, dang, we didn't get it. Or the pirates managed to knock out an engine, and you can't get up to speed, and you're like, okay, crap, what do we do? We surrender. We'll give you half of our cargo if you just let us go. And if the pirate says, screw that, we're going to, say, well, okay, but say, okay, you can attack us and continue to attack us, but you're taking the chance that half of you will die. And if death matters, then maybe the bargaining for half the cargo would be better than taking the chance of dying.
Well, and if they're a real pirate, they also are going to figure out the calculation of material cost. I mean, if I lose X amount of ships, die or not, is it worth the materials I'm trying to capture off this ship?
That's right.
It's I'm going to lose 6 guys doing this. We've already lost 2. He's going to dump half his cargo. We'll take half his cargo. There you go. Because it's a common distinction that people always forget. Pirating is about profit.
Yeah.
Pirating is not about, sadistic murdering and all that stuff. You're not really a pirate if you're just there to kill shit and blow it up.
You're just a murderous
thug. You're a murderous thug, yeah. So it's a huge difference. True pirates honor ransoms.
I admit that I'm not a pirate.
There you go. So and that's fair. But I'm just saying, a true pirate is in it for profit, and he doesn't care how he gets the profit. That's just what he's going to do, and he's going to do it through whatever means he wants. Not an agreement, not honesty, not like a merc. Like that makes a binding contract to work for either side. The pirate's like, I'm just going to get money my way, and I'm going to steal and pillage and do what I got to do. So, distinctions there. And Notorious went on to say, it says, I think to make interdiction work, that ships will need to have longer running battles, long QT, and cooldown periods. Agreed. I don't think the cooldowns is necessary. I think it should be there, but I think that a small cooldown culminated with the 88 mile per hour philosophy where you have to get up to speed will be sufficient enough to suppress that.
What do you mean by cooldown?
Before the quantum drive would be active again. So say you jump, and then you can't just hop again right off the hop. And I think that's fair.
They have cooldowns.
Yeah, they have cooldowns already, but I don't think that if
they'll be more substantial for a bigger ship.
I think if all of your modules are in perfect working order, you have no blown fuses. I think honestly, you know what they have said that modules like fuses and other things will burn out while in flight.
Well.
Right?
Think about what we just saw on the Idris with Morrow there. He was talking about that system he was working was a cooling system. Yeah. And he has to manually do that stuff. So if that big-ass ship makes a jump, I guarantee he's down there cooling it down. So it's going to have some sort of cooldown that's going to be a larger ship. Now, a fighter, I don't think it should have like a 3-minute cooldown. right? Maybe
Nope.
even not at Connie, but at Idris, maybe it takes a minute and a half before it's going to jump again.
I don't think that the Idris should have a time, I don't think there should be any time. Like, you shouldn't say, oh, an Idris has a 3-minute cooldown.
No. It has to be engineering related.
Cooldown.
Like if you bought better cooling systems for it, it should reduce it.
The ship go jump again by doing jury rigging this or jimmying that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Or we could get down there and have 5 engineers standing around there with
buckets
like cryo. No, like some sort of cryo, like a like a CO2 fire extinguisher that puts out cold. Like, so you could sit there and spray it down to cool it down faster. So I think that there should be ways, like if you did nothing, let's say doing nothing, you would have like a 5-minute cooldown period.
Yeah.
But if you have like you've changed out your coolers for a different brand, the most expensive brand.
Yeah.
You take in 5 engineers to stand around the engine room to cool the rods down manually at the same time. So all that stuff put together, you can affect it to maybe being, if you did it just right, you could go from 5 minutes to a 30-second cooldown.
Yep. See, and
you did it right.
I 100% agree with that. I don't want a static, like it is base 5 minutes or it's base 3 minutes.
Right.
I want it to be impacted by your gear, by what you do, by how you perform. So the better crew you have, you might be able to hot jump. That's the important, and that's the difference between having either players or really good high-paid NPCs or not having them. I think that's where you get those dynamic differences. And I agree. Yeah. I don't want anything to be a static, like, oh, this is the set time to do this, because we'll exploit that. I mean, and it doesn't make one ship any different than another. I think the difference in the ships should be based on not only how they're equipped, but the crew that's piloting them inside. So, very important. Piss on a spark plug if it helped, Captain. I want to hear you say it over comms whenever we're rolling in the Idris.
With a heavy Scottish accent.
Yes, definitely. Notorious then asks, he says, what is your hope for prison gameplay? Based on Todd Pappy's explanation, would you rather be in favor of something like Arcade or Riddick Escape from Butcher's Bay, where the players from smaller crimes pay a fine to prevent from going to jail? There's a long answer here. In larger crimes, you have to go to jail, but those jails could be player generated and scattered throughout the SE universe. So now there's maybe 100 prisons scattered throughout 20. Oh my gosh. So players can't memorize layouts. You're talking about randomization of prison systems, so that way if there is a way to escape, it wouldn't be like, oh, you just go to the one hole in the one wall every time. I get what you're saying. I hope there's some variation with the prison escape dynamics, so that way it's more organic than like, all right, Ricky always has the boiler loose over there. We just go through the one hole and we're out of here. Yeah, I hope there's some dynamics to that.
Well, maybe there's ways so they can randomize which guard you have to pay off, and you have to learn which one is the one you got to pay off.
That'd be cool.
Get out.
Well, Toy, that's what I've talked about now for quite a while. I made a video back, I guess it was in May, and I talked exactly about that kind of thing where the prison planet. So there's one prison planet in the UEE. It's an entire planet that's a prison, and it's called Quarterdeck. And it is followed at its Lagrange point by a large satellite that's called Justice Star, and that's where the prisoners are processed to go to Quarterdeck. Now, the idea is that Quarterdeck would only be the worst of the worst criminals, right? And what I suggested was that they create like an entire video game's worth of gameplay on the surface of the planet. Multiple gangs, good guards, corrupt guards, all kinds of stuff like that. Where if you're a bad enough criminal, you get sentenced to life. The only way to get out of that prison is to escape. Now, that's not impossible, but it should be hard. Now, for the lesser criminals, you go to more local prisons like satellite, prison stations. And like he was saying, suggested in his question, you could pay a fine. Mm-hmm. And depending on how bad the crime, if it was a fairly petty crime, you pay the fine. like you pay an impound fee to get your ship out, right?
Yeah, and Tony Z actually
so-
talks about that in that My Radar video about being
Right,
able
so-
to pay to get out. Yeah.
Right. So then you go to the next, or you could just wait in jail. Like, say, if you don't have money, you just wait in jail. And for the really petty crimes, maybe it's just like the, if you're waiting for how long does it take to get a simple fighter back when your insurance claim, right? If you can't pay to insurance claim it, some of them only take like 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So if you've committed a crime, you get caught by the advocacy, you sit in the jail for 15 minutes, and then you're out without paying anything. Or you could pay the fine, and boom, you're out in 2 minutes. You're processed out in a minute or two, right?
Yep.
For the more serious crimes, you're transported to quarterdeck, right? But I think that there is this whole, I love the idea that they're working on the reputation system, and that reputation system, like if you're a really goody two shoes and you're with the advocacy, there's going to be, and you're always helping them to defeat the pirates, man, you're going to have a bounty on your head. These pirates are going to hate you,
Yeah.
So there's the opposite side where you're always helping the pirates and you're, knocking off these transports and you're stealing, weapons from the UEE. Eventually they're going to catch you and put you in jail. So, there's both sides. Yeah. Or kill you. Right.
Yeah.
So, but I do like the idea of really in-depth prison gameplay.
Yep.
Like hundreds of hours worth on like the surface of quarterdeck. I just think that would be so cool.
There you go. All right, next one is from George P357. He says, "What are your opinions on modding in the game, similar to other MMOs after SC is released? Will CR allow it? Do you personally like the idea of mods?"
Well, that would have to be not for SC, but for Squadron 42, because I don't think there's any modding in MMOs. I really don't. I think there's modding in like
there can be private servers.
There's
mods,
private
for sure.
servers with mods like Skyrim private, right? But there's no public server that you can mod.
We're going to
stuff
assume
and
he
bring it in.
means private server because we know you can't mod on the online game because it's if you actually introduce additional code or anything to the online live server, it's against the EULA. You can't do that.
Right.
It'll basically lose your account.
I think that there will be modding. Maybe.
I don't think. I think there will be, but I think it'll be more maybe privatized, like arena tournaments, small, maybe being able to simulate a small area. But these systems are so robust. I would say only very few people will dedicate the amount of machinery or dedicate the amount of expense to buy a cloud server to run a solar system or anything else in there. You're not going to be able to buy enough even cloud space to run a complete version of Star Citizen.
Well, we'll see what Amazon does, what Star Citizen and Amazon do, what CIG and Amazon do about the current the legal situation.
Yeah,
I have a feeling there's going to be some sort of partnership between Amazon and CIG that's going to kind of close the door on this whole situation, but it's also going to open up the possibility that, like you just said, Amazon might be able to offer, hey, create your own solar system and in conjunction with CIG kind of thing, right? Where, because Amazon wants to sell more cloud space, right? And right now there are lots of game servers out there that you can pay $24 a month and have a 60 or 70 person server for a lot of these games out there. Like Hellion, you can go buy your own server time and, you get the controls of the server. And what's the game? Empyrean Galactic Survival. Do you guys know that one?
Yep.
Yeah. So that one you can create planets and all that kind of stuff. So it's the same kind of modding that these guys are talking about.
Yep.
And I would imagine that they could do something like that with a
post-release, of course.
Yeah, post-release, of course. Yeah. But
absolutely.
just like a single solar system,
or even a single couple planets would be good. I mean, to be honest, it's going to be a massive scale. I think it just depends on what they allow you to do. But I mean, 100 solar systems, even on a cloud server this size and magnitude, would be so expensive. It'd be Not saying
Well,
nobody
a
would do it.
si-
It'd be ridiculous.
I think a single solar system would be affordable. I think you could pay $25 a month and have a single solar system.
Maybe. I don't know what cloud server stuff goes on, and it might be very reasonable with Amazon and stuff with AWS and all that. I don't know. But yeah, I'd say definitely post release, and maybe I don't think he's really excited about it though. As far as Chris Roberts, he might allow it because he promised that he would allow some of that stuff. But Chris is such a perfectionist. I don't think he wants to see his baby tampered with. He was never a super fan of people messing with Privateer, Freelancer, or any of the Wing Commander games in those ways until years and years and years later. So,
Yeah, I mean,
he, like I said, I don't, because he would never release it before the game was ready either, because it's like somebody would take it and like make some like weird Frankenstein version of like it running, and he wouldn't be happy. I can picture it now. He's too much of a perfectionist. Revoxer says, do you think ships will be able to target ground vehicles like Tonks and use missiles on them? They can right now.
Absolutely.
So I can shoot rovers right now with missiles. So yes, I believe they can. Slim asks, he says, in the 3.0 live release tomorrow, will we have good FPS? If you have a good computer. Next question.
You will have all the FPS.
You'll have more FPS than what your computer has in 2.63. That is your answer.
Yes.
So if you go in there and you're like, hey, I run 2.63 at 4 frames, you may have 6 frames and pledge your allegiance to CR over it. There you go. Next question from Alanon says, what are your thoughts on the release of 3.0 to live alpha? The mass email from RSI tonight says, December live tomorrow, latest build PTU for all backers to play. How much did you write? Oh my God.
Well, all I can say is I was right again.
That's right. I said it first, and Uber Nerd agreed.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I still think it's a mistake. I'll just continue to say on the record. I think a live release is a mistake.
It is still going to be the smoothest release they've ever made.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a very low bar to trip over. I'm just saying.
It doesn't matter.
I know. I agree. I've said it many times myself, but still, I just wish they'd hold the live a little bit. I mean, Open PTU is fine. That's why I was hoping they'd do Open PTU and just go from there. Next question's from Derek Smart, apparently. It says, how do you feel about the live release, considering 3.0 was less than, Open 3.0 was less than 48 hours? I love this game, but I don't want the press and new backers to write it off when they log in. And so, you know what? I will say this in defense of the live release, though, as much as I kind of wish they'd hold it and all this stuff. If new backers and the press haven't read all the shit in the last 2 weeks and seen all the drama and all that crap and not wrote it off, they're not going to write it off over anything they're going to see in 3.0. I guarantee that.
Do you want to know why?
Right now really isn't a lot of bugs. It's more network. And as long as they open up enough servers to handle the traffic, it won't be bad.
Right. So, you want to know why they're doing this, though? Because I think that a lot of people assume they're doing it because they want to say that they went live before the new year. I think they have to, because they're going live because, as I said, the PTU is going to open up January, first week, second week of January. New PTU is going to open up. Ivacati is going to open up.
I hope.
Not hope. It's going to happen. I told you that it would go live before the end of the year because
you and about 50,000 other people, and I still say it's a mistake.
Well, but I said they had to do it because they're going to put the Ivacati, they're going to put the new build of whatever they have in. It's not going to be like ArcCorp or anything, at least not right away, but they're going to put all the new stuff in the first or second week of January. Ivacati will open up because they want to have it go live by like the first week of April. Right? Yeah. That quarterly release. But you saw how long this last Ivacati and PTU lasted. Well, if that's the case, then it has to be first week of January or they're going to miss it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's, anyways, that, and I said that before, and I've held to that.
And they
position.
could never possibly miss a date.
Well, they're actually starting.
They
to
already
plan.
missed a date. They pushed
They're
the whole.
already. Yeah.
They pushed the
Squadron
whole holiday
42.
stream 24 hours so they could not miss their date.
Right.
That was the joke.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's
Yeah.
the way it is.
Yeah. I hope so.
Somebody's taken project management courses. I think they started learning time management.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing.
Or maybe Chris started listening to all the project managers he hired. Because he's had them now for a while.
Probably, though.
Lurch Dog says, have any of you been interdicted yet, and what are your thoughts on that? I have not.
Not me.
No.
Have not
I
been
like the
interdicted.
idea of it. Like, I'd be totally cool if it happened to me, but so far it just simply hasn't happened.
Yeah. I like it though. It's cool.
Yep. Next question is from DS again. What's everyone's opinion of larger ships just having armor and no shields, smaller ships having shields and little armor?
No, because
That's a
big ships
terrible
are going
idea.
to hit harder,
Yeah.
and if it's big ship against big ship, it's going to end up being a duel
Rip right
just like
through
it
it.
is with little ships.
Yeah.
Right.
And you'd be able to smash little ships into big ships and destroy them pretty easily if you did it like that.
Here's the thing. A lot of people always, when we're talking about these fighter battles or these ship to ship battles, we're thinking about these battles in the old paradigm. What's the old paradigm? Hit points, pew pew pew. Okay, 1100 is now 970, pew pew pew, 840, pew pew. You know what I'm saying? And we're thinking about it in terms of like a red hit point bar in our minds as gamers. Whenever we're doing that, that's what we're thinking of. However, what Chris Roberts has stated over and over again, and I don't think he's stated it well enough, but I'll try to explain it, is that pew pew pew, fuse breaks, module bursts, right? Yeah. Oh crap, functionality of the ship is now decreasing because of that, not because some hit point counter went down. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different, when he's said it before, and I think this is great. When a bullet goes through the hull of a ship, it hits whatever is in its path.
Yep.
Right. And if it happens to hit a cooler, that cooler is out of commission. If it happens to cut through a power conduit, that power conduit is whatever was being powered by that is now offline, and that power, maybe that power supply will overload because of that instant, that power surge. So there's, if the fuse goes out, a surge could go back and take out a power supply. Yeah. There's all kinds of stuff that could happen.
And that's where ship design comes in a lot of place. Some ships are designed very compact, like what we see the Idris. And if it gets hit or a bullet actually penetrates it, it's more likely to hit a critical system in certain areas than other ships that are more spread out where they can be compartmentalized. And that's what makes the unique design of ships really interesting. But
but that's what I'm saying is that I think that's what people are not thinking about. They're thinking of red hit point line, pew pew pew. They're not thinking of, if I hit the ship here, I know that there are coolers and power plants right back there that are for critical systems, right? So you focus fire, where to hit the ship, rather than, if I hit the nose of the ship, I know the pilot's at there. If I hit the back of the ship, I know the engines are in there.
Take out gunners, different power systems that power the guns, those type of things, if you know critical systems.
Right? So I think it's going to be a lot different than people think. Right?
I do too. I think especially when battling larger ships, you're going to be disabling things, not trying to kill the ship. You're like, hit its engines, we need to slow it down, or hit the guns so those guns, aren't affecting you. And those things.
It's not going to be right now, or in 2.6.3, and even right now a little bit to some extent, it's pew 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 boom, like you said earlier, Mitt. To take somebody's cargo, you got to blow them up.
Yep. There's no disabling, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I can't wait till there is, but it will happen.
Yeah, me too. I'm really looking forward to that.
The only ship I will say that you can kind of disable now are some of the fighters that have wing-based engines, like the Buccaneer. If you take out an engine, you feel that on the ship. Or like even the Constellation, if you knock all 4 of its engines off, it just sits there and spins. So there is ways to disable some of the ships now, but only if they have isolated engine mechanics on extremities to break off.
Yeah, I don't like the idea that you have to take the engine off completely.
Yeah,
to
I don't
disable
either.
it.
Because then ships like the Starfarer, you can't disable them because the only way to destroy them, or the only way to disable rather, is to destroy them because the engine is not isolated from the main body. So I want to be able to disable stuff. All right, 2 more questions, and then we're a wrap, and we'll do this gift card draw. This from DS again. This green stuff has been growing on my scrotum for a couple weeks. Any ideas?
Oh my god!
So, I'd say
doctor.
take more showers, watch less videos. There you go.
Quit dipping your junk in guacamole.
No doubt. It's not that kind of Mexican restaurant. George P357 says, as a follow-up to my previous question about modding, could CIG add the option to buy and apply mods in the future, thereby creating future income streams?
Yeah, now that's an idea that I think is a good one too.
Sure, maybe. Make different theme mods and stuff you could add to private servers. Why not? If they are not too busy shooting Chris's next movie, because after they're done with all 3 Squadron 42 chapters, they're gonna you'll see a feature film come out starring Chris Roberts, leading lady, Sandy Gardner, and whoever else they put in there. And
So, do you guys think if a Squadron 42 movie came out, do you think it would be animated like Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within?
I would hope so.
I'd prefer it. I would prefer it not to be. I'd rather see.
You want to see them do live action with Sandy
Let me
in it?
rephrase that. I don't want to see CIG do live action. I'd like to see a studio do a film based.
No, it'd
on
be
it,
Chris's film,
not including
Chris would be
CIG.
the producer for sure,
and more than likely the director.
He's a good director.
He
I'll
likes to
give him
direct
that.
the films. He does. He really enjoys directing the films, and I couldn't see him not directing it. And I agree, there's better directors out there, but it's his.
Did you
baby,
like
so-
Lord of War?
Lord of War was really good. I enjoyed it.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it was very good.
So, not every director creates a blockbuster every time.
Yep.
So
He did very
I
well
think-
when he got away from the spaceship stuff.
yeah, Lord of War is a good movie.
It is a good movie. It's very
I think Chris Roberts does have a very good capability to do good directing. So,
That's right.
but I would like to see kind of a animated.
I would too. I think it gives him a lot more cushion to do a lot more things with actors and stuff like that he wouldn't be able to do otherwise. And after seeing the Wing Commander series of movies, and even though I'm a little nostalgic about some of them, even though they were like bad nostalgic, so they were good on some elements, I do not want to see them try to create Van Duel in live action. I just don't. I don't think it'll.
Well, okay, it would not be. They would not create. It's not like they would make puppets. Even with live action movies, there's a lot of CG.
I
right?
know. I still
So,
think it'd be a better film animated, because you see like some of the great acting and stuff they do with the mocap and all that stuff. I think it'd be better in that genre.
When you guys saw the Final Fantasy movie, did you guys like it?
I did.
Yeah,
Not
me
really,
too.
No.
I did.
I liked it a lot.
And I'm not a big Final Fantasy fan or anything like that.
I'm
I
not
thought it was
either.
good. I thought it was good.
I liked it because I liked the computer animation. I was very impressed. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what captured me about it.
So it wasn't about. I think the story was kind of corny.
Yeah, I don't think.
But
it was,
I liked it for less for the story and more for the action and the animation. I thought it was
Absolutely.
just fantastic.
It was much like a John Wick film. I knew what I was expecting to see, and I was pleasantly surprised by how good a quality it was, rather than
The story was like, but
it was okay. Kind of predictable, but it's okay. It's like, what are these things that are killing? Yeah, it's like yeah, they're the thing. But the explanation of the things in that movie, right? When they did the reveal and they told the story, that was a pretty cool sequence. I like the whole sequence of seeing that, the flashback. It was good. So it was good. Why it was not a unpredictable movie with twists and turns, they did it well, I thought, for what it was. Let's see. we're going to do the keyword raffle real quick, and we're going to get that in. Again, make sure you have exclamation mark guests, that you're following the entire cast, so that way you can qualify for this. And also, I'd like to remind people we are under the 10-day mark on the SpaceBro Gaming giveaway of a reclaimer. So exclamation mark monthly in chat, and you can possibly win during the beautiful, at the end of the New Year's Eve strum that I'm doing. You will possibly be the proud owner of a reclaimer when it's all said and done. So make sure you're getting in that. So it's exclamation mark monthly. I don't think there's a yearly one unless... Oh, yes. Drones was giving up his car because he wanted to go with a really big prize. But that's a whole different story. All right, so let's go over here. We're going to get ready.
Nobody wants a Yugo.
I know. I want a WeGo. It's a lot more spacious, I hear.
What is you know what they call the defroster on the back window of a Yugo?
What?
Hand warmer.
Hand warmer. There you go. So we have 1 more minute for people to get in here. I started a timer. If you haven't put it already, exclamation mark SpaceBros in chat for your ability to win a $10 Star Citizen gift card right now in chat. So get in there. Isn't Elon sending his Roadster to Mars this month? Is it this month?
No.
It's next month. Yeah, it's next month.
Yeah. January.
Yeah. Next month. They did have more pictures, though, I thought, that they put out on that, didn't they? Or those are the old pictures. They had the pictures of it inside the, what you call it? The rocket thing, the mount, all that stuff. So you can look at the pictures on Instagram if you haven't seen it yet. Space Bronies. Nice Ketchup Ninja.
That's hilarious, Ketchup Ninja.
There you go. 5 points for originality. All right. That expires that. We're going to go ahead and seal this down.
-1 point for using an apostrophe.
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
Grammar. We don't, no. Yeah. We don't need no stinking grammar.
That's right. All right. No claim word on this one either, guys. We're just going to wing this the way that I like to push it. Wait, what we launched? Yeah, don't worry about it. Oh, snap. Looks like Zealous is going to win this one.
Congrats, Zealous.
I'm pretty sure Zealous follows everybody. He's pretty hardcore.
I already know he follows mine, so I'm not even looking.
He's one of my oldest subs, so I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He's good here.
He's been following me since the 15th of July.
There you go.
You know he's following me.
Yep.
And he's a subscriber.
That's Zealous for you.
Right on, Zealous.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Boom, boom, boom. And that message goes off. All right, guys. What time is it? I was going to play some more tonight, but we're already at 1:37. I think we're going to go raid somebody. Let's do that thing.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go raid somebody. I think... And you guys have to help me do this, because we're gonna go blow up Mr. J Lee, I think.
Sweet.
We're just gonna keep hammering the shit out of his channel, so that way Champion can just get him more subs, so I can retire, because he's at 280 subscribers now. He got an extra 50 today. So we're just gonna. I told him if he passed me, I was gonna quit streaming. So we're just gonna wrap it up. Call it a good one. Thanks for playing. Get out of here. So, guys, help me go raid him. Give him some love. Jilly's awesome, man. So, go over there and hit him up. Do the thing. And I will see you guys tomorrow for Live 3.0. Make sure you're doing that. Make sure we're having a potty for that stuff. And when are you guys going to be on real quick? You got about 30 seconds. Uber Nerd, where are you going to be on next?
I'm going to be on tomorrow, 9 a.m. till maybe 4 or 5.
There you go. Drones.
Sunday, 10 a.m. until, I don't know.
Where are you going to be on next?
I'm going to be on
Eastern.
Okay.
Way
Toy.
to commit.
I'll try and get on with you tomorrow.
All right. Group up. Oh, look at that. I can actually go through your screen. Like on your shoulder right there. I didn't know. There you go. All right, 69 Raiders. You know what that means? It means everybody in here is going to get 1,000 Robux. Tomorrow we will be giving away a Cutlass Black in my channel. Thank you so much for your donations. All that awesome stuff. So anybody wants to play, including the rest of Space Bros, if I'm on, you're welcome. People out there, viewers, if you're welcome. I want to see how many great cats we can pack into a ship and throw it out of there. See you tomorrow, guys. Have a great night. Peace out.
That was good.